Hello. Hello, hello, hello. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good day. Good day. Like to say down under. Another month, another Friday, another six oscillators where synthesizers and guitars collide. And homosyntherists all over the world. Anybody who feels that those two things, guitars and synthesizers, do belong together. They have a piece of home, a piece of on my heart, and a piece of haven where to find like-minded people and share their own thoughts and experiences. And if in the meantime you manage to teach me one or two things, yay, that's also always a win. What is gonna be happening tonight? It's a surprise. Basically, because tech again is being naughty. So before I get into the bad news, let's get the good news, which is I got more people to talk with tonight than just myself and the studio. Let's celebrate that by welcoming in, once again, alphabetical order with no preference whatsoever, Mr. Guitar Fool. Welcome, Mister.
Yep,
How are you doing?
I'm doing good,
You're doing good. Can you? Is
considering.
all? Oh, okay. We'll get into that in a minute. Is all your tech working? Because mine is not.
Yep.
Good. And as I said, in no particular order, Mr. Uncle Chrome.
Hey, hey,
Howdy, howdy. How's
how
it
you
going?
doing?
Is your tech working?
I think so. So far, so
Great.
good. But
Because mine isn't. Mine is acting up. The
well,
little bugger.
if you remember
Cool.
last month, I couldn't stay connected, so I had to go to my iPad, and then ultimately
Uh-huh.
the battery died on that. So, yeah, so far, so good, and there we are.
Cool.
It's always something.
And if you let me just take a little quick look, we have a viewer. Yay! I mean, a live viewer is here with us. He has find a hole in his schedule to be there. It's Mr. Culture of Ghost. Thank you very much for joining us live
Yay!
and for saying hello. I
Welcome
just
back,
one
Steven.
little. Okay.
He's been
I
away for a little while, so we're happy to have him back.
We're always happy to have anybody back, or just in, because we're very happy people. I'm just gonna, if it's not too much to ask of him, how can you hear us? Are we all talking at the same level? Is something we should tweak about? Because the previous shows have been sabotaged by the technology. Those nasty, nasty circuits. What do you think? Does it look good? Does it sound good? And he's happy to see everyone as well. Good. I'm happy to see that you're happy to see. Let's give him a second because we know that sending, receiving, bloop, 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 waves. On his end, everything's working fine. So, sail on. So, Guitar Fool, you were about to complain about what's wrong on your end of the world. You said you were having some issues.
Me?
Did you? Didn't you?
No.
Okay. I understood wrong. I misunderstood.
Oh,
Sorry. I misunderstood. It's a common thing to happen.
no, I just said
Cool.
everything's good considering.
considering.
Oh, I thought that consider means that not
When you-
everything is.
When you get to my age, you'll understand.
That's right.
I certainly will. And I don't know why my broken brain, that comment makes me think of a song I just discovered recently in these past weeks. Although, any of you is familiar with this singer called Brian Andrews? Or is it Ryan? Give me a second. I need to check if it's
Julie
there's
Andrews.
no. It's a new guy, which is
And I'm going to
is
say
trying-
no. I'm pretty certain no.
Well, I mean, he's new to fame and fortune. Sorry, fame and fortune, not to the showbiz, because he's been trying a long time. No, wait, this is not the right way to check it. But now he's making it end, and Brian with B, Brian Andrews.
Brian Andrews.
What am I mentioning? I've been on a very, how to call it, going down insane rabbit hole on catching up on you American people daily political life.
Uh-oh.
That's a mistake.
I know, and I've done it. I made it myself. Just because I couldn't believe it when they told me, I couldn't believe it, so I had to check for myself. And B, because it's so many words come to my head, as in outrageous, unbelievable, deranged, mental, out of control, all of the above, basically, from my point of view. And remember, my point of view is from a Spaniard in UK watching America from internet. And even so, I think I found two, I don't know, trustworthy, nowadays is too big of a word, but reliable, let's call reliable sources, although I still don't dare to check on the MAGA sources, of news and events, and also every news that I think is critical, I try to triple or quadruple check on different sources, just to get somebody else convince me that it's real. Because from this side of this screen, it doesn't seem real what is happening there.
It doesn't seem real here either. It's insane. It's like they're all on drugs. Everybody in Washington is on drugs. And it's,
You wish, because that would mean if you take them away, they would become normal. I don't think they can go back to that state.
well,
None of them.
I don't think normal people go into politics anyway.
Mister, you're preaching to the choir.
But
So, I mean, weren't the Romans or the Greeks the ones that would execute whoever who wanted actively to go into politics, under the premise that if anybody who wanted to rule the nation was not worthy of ruling the nation just
I've
because he
always-
wanted to?
I've always said that. We've only ever had one president who fell into that category that didn't want the job, and that was George Washington.
Okay,
And that was because they had to
he
have-
was there.
Yeah, and they had to make somebody president while they got the Constitution written, so he got drafted.
So
I'm not sure if Andrew Johnson really wanted the job either, but that's another story. He inherited
And-
it, so.
So, in the process of getting, obviously, my poison is Reels, Facebook Reels, which is coming from Meta, which is in itself a cesspool of misinformation. But
It's all
I think-
misinformation. All of it's
It is.
misinformation.
even more in 2026, where my catchphrase is "Don't believe anything coming through a screen, and don't believe anything coming through a speaker," because the level of fake we have achieved should be illegal.
Yeah.
because we're playing with the future of humanity, if you ask me. So in that process, obviously the problem with reels like TikTok is that it's flashes of information out of context, out of timeline. So that's why I had to go deep into the rabbit hole and try to put all that nonsense into some coherent explanation.
Yeah.
But in the middle of the flashes of information, that artist came onto my face, literally. And his singing style, his musical style, you could call country, although you could call he's a left-wing country artist, because he's singing against everything is going wrong in USA nowadays, or at least the best he knows how to.
Right.
Yeah.
And somehow he twinkles my my buttons, and the way that he moves, the way he puts things, and he moves the way he has to explain things. And I like this particular compilation of, I think it's like 6 or 8 tunes. You can't call it an album because it's not more than, I think it's 6 tunes. But for instance, I would love to play his music, but since it's released, we're gonna get a copyright strike the size of the reflection pool.
Or Fender.
Are you monetizing?
No, but still.
Oh, well, then you're fine.
No.
Oh, don't tell me that, because I'm gonna pull the video in 3 minutes.
Well, whatever. But I'm going to say the only issue with copyright and all that is if you monetize your channel, depending on the level of strike, they either like, oh, we now, monetize that stream or something like you're paying us for that. Or they can even say like, no, just you can't show that, and they'll block out the portion or just the whole stream. I've heard in extreme cases.
Well,
but yeah.
they will help
If
you.
you're not like mine, if I go through my list, and lately it's like YouTube has gone through and amended claims and stuff like that. So I have a lot of different hits. Somebody will make some claim against something that I mean, I had one video that was made with acid loops, which are freely usable, right? And somebody else made a claim on that. It's like, you can't make an acid loop claim, sorry, but I don't monetize, so it doesn't matter.
Wait, do you remember years and years ago do you remember this YouTuber called Piano Shack?
Woody?
Woody Piano Shack.
Yeah, Woody was on PSN today. He popped in.
Oh,
yeah.
amazing.
Anyway.
I'll watch it on Monday. Good. Do you remember that he got copyright stricken? Is it stricken?
Stricken. Yeah.
Stricken by a guy from India claiming copyrights on a demo song from Roland.
Yeah, I've heard of crap like that. One of my copyright hits, I took a MIDI file of a Sousa march, and I played that through some instruments, and somebody gave me a copyright hit for that Sousa march. And I'm like, I'm sorry, Sousa marches are public domain. And what I did with it, like, you can't say I took your file and copied, So it's like, whatever. But it's not worth fighting because I don't monetize and I don't give a shit. No. So that's it. Sorry.
Oh, you mean you want half of nothing? Yeah, go.
Yeah, that's right. You can have all of nothing.
You get all of nothing.
That's right. In fact, I'll write you a big fat check for nothing.
Cool.
That?
Because I really
zeros. No.
So okay, let's
so
get
I
this.
I think you're safe now. YouTube, I know YouTube will slam somebody shut for their violations. And in particular, Symptoms of Reality did a thing where they were going around their garage showing all their stuff, and they opened up a gun safe. And within like 30 seconds, their stream was dead and they were gone. They were put in YouTube penalty box for like a week or something like that. So there's some things there that YouTube are monitoring, especially in live streams. Right, because you can have people do snuff videos or all kinds of horrible things here, right? They can't censor, so they are censoring. But yeah, but you playing somebody's copyright video, they don't give a shit. That's you battling the copyright.
Let's get my cards on the table, okay? Because sadly, and I'm happy to run.
You were going to show us some guns, weren't you, Eddie?
No, you're gonna
This
show
one's
you're gonna show us your nylon
That's it.
string guitar.
Oh man, we're good. 30 seconds. 29, 28,
that's it.
27.
again.
Here it comes.
No, you're
That's
gonna
one.
show us
That's the
your
other.
electric classical.
Wait for that. Wait for that. Let's get the politics out of the way because I feel very compelled. So
Okay.
Okay.
now is when we get the show totally shut down until somebody proves me wrong. My heart, my experience, and my family background, I am left wing. I've been working class all my life, coming from working class parents, and I don't understand a society without a working class with rights to survive, which they're fading and fading away worldwide.
Right.
On the countries who had them, obviously. On the countries who never had them, sadly, they never experienced the loss because they never had them, okay? Which is, in their case is kind of a win because they are drop of blood by drop of blood winning some liberties and getting some rights.
Yeah.
Very, very hardly, too slowly if you ask me, but they are so, in their case, it's just a win. For ours, we need to fight to keep them, or we need to do something to keep them. They're not granted, sadly, although they should. So I'm always happy to listen to any point of life, to any politic attitude. And you both guys, because these people in the screen, we never had this conversation, are happy to share your point of view or to not share anything at all. That's your prerogative, that's up to you. But would you be bothered with a left-wing piece of music if I share it here in this platform?
How left wing?
The guy doesn't want to stop.
I'm being facetious because you can't be left wing enough for me. I've known communists who went to jail for throwing eggs at the Chinese premier. So
Okay, you're safe.
yeah. I was a labor union organizer in grad school. How about that? Does that help?
As you should. Do you want to express yourself on that matter? Guitar Fool? Okay.
I dislike all political entities, no matter who they are. I think they're all evil.
Yeah.
But
Well, yeah,
That's me.
they're all people which is flawed in its inception. I get it.
Yeah.
But
'cause the people
I'm fine
in
with him.
power are
I'm a
people that
middleman.
want it.
Good.
Middleman.
I mean, I'm happy. I would be happy being a middleman if there was in the world there was a real left wing and a real right wing. The problem is most left wings are already middle. So when trapped in between a rock and a harder place,
Yep.
somebody needs to square the balance. So
The
we
problem
need.
is all left-wing leaders, when they get into power, all
Oh,
of a
yeah.
sudden they become the status quo, and you're a counter-revolutionary, and it's
Well,
because that's why they
Hey.
started a revolution anyway. It's just whatever cause they want. They tell the people that they want to support them what they want to hear. Whether it's okay, we're gonna give you everything, and you don't have to work, and it's
hey Henrik, how you doing?
it's a racket.
Yay.
You know.
Yeah, please welcome Mr. JX3D, music composer, electronic music composer, and publisher extraordinaire. I love his work and I love his sound design. He's really, really good. Check him out wherever you can. He's one of the best. So,
Let's hear it.
okay.
Yeah.
As I said,
But-
it's my show. If they shut me down, I'll find a way to fight the power.
We'll remember you.
That's right.
So, do you guys have anything you could? Because now I need to find how to. I can share screen. I can do that. How to bring it up with everything sound included. I'm gonna try to play the one I think is the brilliantest, although I should play two of them. One is gonna polarize everybody, and the other one is gonna make everybody my enemy. So I should play both.
Or neither.
Neither is never an option. Trust me, not in my head. Neither is never an option.
No.
Good.
We'll
So
remember you.
can I? Yes, dearly. Please remember me
Well,
dearly.
just remember that the enemy of your enemy is your friend.
Aha.
So the enemy of your friend is your
the
enemy.
the friend of your friend is your enemy.
The friend of your friend is your enemy.
Yep.
So let's start with the one that's gonna make everybody polarized, which is this. But let me there.
Oh, speaking of
Sure.
polarizing, R.I.P. Country Joe McDonald. I saw something that he died recently.
Could you please explain who that is to me?
So Country Joe
Joe and the
was
Fish.
an act at Woodstock. That's where they became famous.
Country
And
Joe
their
and the
famous
Fish.
song was the Fish Cheer.
Huh.
And that was an anti-Vietnam song. 1, 2,
Yeah.
3. What are we fighting for?
Mm.
Anyway, you got if you know it, you know it. If you
Interesting.
don't, you don't. But
Obviously, I assume because hopefully somebody younger than us will see this video someday in the future. You're talking about the original Woodstock Festival in 1969?
68.
69.
68.
69. No,
69.
60. Yeah.
69 in Woodstock, New York.
Yeah, the year that we landed
About-
2 astronauts in an LA studio.
That was a crazy summer.
So you're one of those, are you?
No.
Welcome to the family.
I watched it live on TV.
I did
I mean,
too.
The thing is, I've seen
In the same
facts,
black
I
and
think-
white that NASA was broadcasting. That's all we
I
had.
seen proof that somebody got to the moon, but I also seen theories very, very detailed that make you doubt that we filmed in the moon and
did.
transmitted it on real time and it made it to Earth.
Yeah.
That's my doubt.
That was the biggest achievement of the whole mission,
Oh
was
yeah.
doing that.
Tell me about it. I mean,
Yeah.
getting there was already a miracle. Sending
it took
a radio
it took
signal.
a radio telescope in Australia. You know, it was.
Okay. So
that's-
it wasn't. It was never a standard television antenna of any
no,
power.
No.
Okay,
No.
that explains a lot.
No. They had some of the high-end cameras that they took that they basically, ruggedized to take on the moon, and they took a ridiculous number of pictures. Most of them are pretty bad too because they weren't photographers, And NASA, they're all on the NASA website. You can look through all like 20,000 pictures, and people
Okay.
say, "Oh, they're all faked." And we didn't have computers back then. I mean,
I know. I mean,
Well, the problem
The-
back then, Jeff, was after the camera spit out the film, you had to take that thing off and shake the film in the air. And on the moon, it just doesn't work like it did on Earth.
well, they didn't use that. They didn't even have that yet.
Hey, I had one
wait,
of those in
60.
69.
Wait,
Oh, the Polaroid.
Oh, wait,
69?
no, I didn't.
Yeah, Polar-
I got one in 70. That's right.
That was
Christmas
the
70. I got mine.
Polaroid
Instamatic.
Instamatic. Yeah.
interesting. No, but very good point.
Wasn't it
Thank
called
you
something
very
like the
much.
Swinger? The Swinger, I think, was a super Instamatic.
That was one of the later the
that later?
consumer model because
Okay.
those are expensive cameras.
Well, they had the ones where the whole thing folded out, but then they had the one that was just a fixed body.
Yeah.
And that's the one
Well,
I got for a
I don't
Christmas
know
present.
for
I remember
sure,
that.
but to me, I always believe that the cameras were pricey, but
Oh,
the
God,
printing paper, was substituting the film, the roll film, the one doing the impressions. Those charges are
Very
what
expensive.
half the price of the camera,
Yeah.
because that was all the real tech was in that thing, not so much on the lens and the.
It was just a box camera. Other than that, it was the film. That was.
So, just one question, because I think this is ready to go. Do you want to keep us on the frame, or shall we remove the just in case we need to deny everything?
No, take full screen. If you're going to
Right.
show a video, let's see it all.
Oh, it's a video?
Yeah,
I thought it was just a
I'm gonna
song.
play the. Yeah,
said it
the
was
song
video,
is
right?
in the video. Also because the guy does a double take on the videos. You'll see why. So I'm gonna take this. I'm gonna add
It's not
this.
AI, is it?
You tell me.
Probably.
I can't tell
Probably.
anymore. Seriously, today I saw one that I could not believe it was fake. The only
It's all
proof that it
fake.
was a fake yeah, I know. But the only proof that that video was fake is because I saw a cat laughing his ass off. Apart from that, the image was flawless. Really, it's like, what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, ready, guys? I'm gonna mute you in the meantime, but don't go anywhere. Sorry, wrong one. Why are you... Okay, because I need to take this one out, take this one in. Now we're ready to go. This is... Okay, I'm gonna crank it. Let me know if it's too loud. But if not... let's do it. Enough said, right? Is anybody offended? Is anybody needing to make a comment against and to stop me from playing
Oh,
anything else?
Wait a minute. Is he still running around loose now?
That's right.
He's still apparently running around losing. He's making his tour, playing these songs live on apparently on very small rooms, as in 200 people each. And
Hey, if he
he's
can get 200 people in a room these days, he's doing pretty good.
Yeah.
well, at least one. He claimed that one of his venues finally sold out 200 seats, which is apparently not common for him in his musical history. Also, I keep seeing updates from him. I think he's about to launch either another album or another 2 or 3 songs. He is very mass media conscious. First of all, I knew about him because he popped into my reel feed, into my doom scrolling.
Oh, okay.
So he's very active in, I don't know if he's probably on every platform. He might be on every, and he is conscious that the way to make a breakthrough in 2026 artist world in USA is through saturation. You need to post material or at least updates or at least what they call content on a daily basis, and I think he's doing pretty well on that end.
Well, that all the people that are trying to make a living in music now are doing that. So that's the way to go.
That's sadly the sign of the
That's too much work
times.
for me. I mean,
It's too much work for
it's always
everybody.
been that way. It's musician. Being a professional musician, it's a hard life.
I think anybody tells you how to make it in music has no clue.
I don't even think it's alive anymore because how to put it without alienating even more of our watchers and followers. You have a talent, you have a drive, you have a skill that nobody values enough to keep you doing it.
Yeah.
Because
That's why
if you try to,
that's why you need an aristocratic, upper crust of society that patronizes you.
Well,
You have your artistic patrons.
I think people
the
these
way it
days
used
have
to
a
be.
lot more expectation for the amount of effort they have to put in because
sorry, come again?
we remember, like, I grew up in an era where you had a band, you formed a band, right? You'd get a job playing somewhere and you start to build up an audience, and then you get hopefully more jobs playing and build up an audience. And then at some point a band might reach a level where they build up a big enough audience and they go and they make a record or a tape, whatever it was, some media, and now the audience is starting to buy it. So they're starting to generate income, have merchandise and stuff like
If you
that.
get airplay.
Yeah, they get local airplay, college airplay, or whatever. And then at some point, that band catches on so that it gets regional pickup. And these things would, they could very quickly happen, right? But that was sort of the natural growth of bands. And I mean, I'll pick a band that I'm very familiar with, Fish. It was exactly that. You know, they were literally guys who met in the college dorms, played the local bars, and then at some point they, you know, packed their gear in a van and started traveling and got gigs like nationally, literally. You know, the van all across the country, all summer long or whatever, right?
Okay. Once again, educate me, because because I come from another country, I come from another generation, not that far away. I think we're only like say 7 or 9 years apart. You and I. I mean, you both and I.
50 years, more like it.
We have a few years on you, Eddie, I think. But yeah, anyway.
I'm only 52.
Exactly.
I don't think you'll be on your 60s. So.
You could
I'm
be my
66.
son.
Oh, come on, really?
Yeah,
No.
I'm 72.
Okay. You don't look a year older than 60. And
There you go.
as I said, I thought you
I
both
wish I
were
felt
on your
that way.
60s.
That's right.
Tell
Musicians
me
tend to
about
have
it.
the Dorian Gray syndrome, I think. We look young, but we're dying on the inside. No.
So,
Yes.
different generation, different country, different
Right.
socio-political situation. But the one thing that I always almost envy it is that telltale about American bands jumping on a van with no freaking plan ahead, just petrol in the tank.
Well, I
a
didn't
map,
say that. I didn't say
and
that.
landing
Yeah.
on a random in the way kind of biggish population
Yeah.
and landing a gig for the night. How true is that, or is it just a fallacy?
That
never
was-
ever
that was-
happened.
no, that-
Yeah, you mean like the Blues Brothers?
That the idea
Kind of, yeah.
the idea of
I
a
think
van of
ZZ
music.
Top, ZZ Top started out like that.
Yeah, I think the idea of a van of musicians just showing up in a locale and, like, you know, getting a gig and stuff like that and surviving that way. That's not it. There are networks of
See you, Threx.
promoters
Take
who
care.
would, exactly, they're
Impresarios.
impresarios who their venues were like, you know, 200-seat bars all across the country, and they could have a collection of musicians that would go from city to city, playing these venues and keeping music going and
So it was never that impromptu. There was a plan behind and at least some contacts.
right. Well, that's
some
what I'm saying.
knowledge.
So we're talking about how does a band actually make it. So the point is now they're getting regional and national exposure, and then then they start producing more content that then gets an airplay like that. So then they get picked up by a record company, and now they're getting promotion and stuff like that. They're
But-
part of the system, but they're an employee of a corporation, an industry. That
Okay,
if everything
that-
works out
that
and
makes
they're
more
lucky,
sense.
they will get promoted up to whatever level they
Because
can max out and all like that, and they will be
another thing-
indebted to the system and all.
Well, let's not get into draconian contracts just yet. Because the other thing is, I thought it would be something like that. It would need to, at least to have an agent or at least somebody with contacts, somebody in the business to say, hey,
Sure.
what if we show up next weekend? Do you have a
Well, there's
30-minute
some of that
slot or
too.
a 1 hour
right.
slot?
But the point
But
is that
the
they were
other thing
always
shocked me.
working to make get their message out there. They had
Sure.
to hump to get wherever they were. The
Yeah, of
idea of
course.
like, I'm going to sit back with Fruity Loops and make some tracks, and now the
Nah.
world is going to come running to me. It's like, yeah, good luck.
That only started happening in the 2010s.
Sure, because it happened. Because some fool got global recognition because he made some tracks on YouTube and all, and really
most-
that were unique. Yeah.
that were unique. And the fact is that kind of a pretty boy. He's selling an image, not just his talent.
The more I learn
And he's
about the global,
sleeping with the executives too.
Yeah.
more on that. The more I learn about the
There's
business
something I have in
worldwide,
this hand that'll make you give me what you have in that hand. No.
so the more I learn about sorry, I'm gonna boost me a little bit about the music industry, and particularly because the music industry that is most powerful, most widespread, and most publicized, the one that's more out in the open for many reasons, is the American one. Is the United States showbiz. industry, because everybody with an internet connection can learn about American showbiz. You cannot say the same about Germany or Switzerland or Italy. You can learn shit all about the music business in Italy anywhere, unless you are in Italy and you're inside already of the biz show, of the showbiz in Italy. Am I wrong? But
It's all disco and Tyrolean leather singers, right? No, is there more than that? I don't know.
Not even that. Not even that anymore. So,
I hear
what
the
I
Naples punk scene is emerging, but no.
with the lasagna, yeah. So, what I've been learning is that most of those tales that you get in the documentaries from MTV or from National Geographic about the band who just was touring around the country, or about the guy with now it's FL Studio. Let's call everything on this right. Now it's FL Studio. Otherwise, even more people is gonna feel alienated. Making it on the internet, they don't tell the whole story, because many industries related to the showbiz, to the music business, make a living out of creating a tale, fantasy, not by lying, but by hiding the bad facts, the ugly facts, just by making it shinier.
Sure.
Okay,
They're
Let's not get into-
manufactured.
Yeah,
That's nothing new.
the group of high school friends that stuck together for the love of music and suddenly became Metallica. Okay, not even Metallica. Where's ever Metallica? Metallica took 5 fucking iterations, I think around 9 members, to become Metallica, and also to new and find the right people and sleeping floors for months and starved to almost to death, right? So nothing is as shiny. Yeah, it's everything is harder than it seems, and everything all ends up being really down to who do you know and when do you know them, because even knowing the right person at the wrong time for what your product is not gonna make you successful.
And
You need to have
and knowing the right person in the biblical sense.
that helps a lot. That makes everything faster, but I rather don't publicize that side. So yeah, that part of the tale is very pretty, is very amazing. There's still some truth, and so far, although tech is there, tech is always there, I'm still a believer that yes, in United States, it's not so much who you are or what you can do, but who do you know, and what have you done for that person, so he feels like he needs to pay you back.
Isn't it that way everywhere?
No, because in Spain, it's only about who do you know.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It's
No. It's because I didn't finish my sentence. In United States, feels, at least that's the tale I want to believe, that it's not only that, but also you need to be good at it, and you need to be on the upper half of good at it, as in something that would turn somebody head saying, "Okay, play that again. Well, what was that you playing?" Not something that is, yes, I've heard that 1,000 times before. So what?
Mm-hmm.
So you need to have something, or at least the potential of making you something.
And there you go. So that's a great point. So when you have that band that, you know, the 4 guys from the high school or dorms or wherever, and they're playing together and they're starting to get jobs, they're probably playing cover tunes, right? Because nobody's going to pay you to play, 2 hours of Jazz Odyssey if they don't know you. So,
unless you manage to get a gig on the Blue Note in New York.
I'm only speaking from my experience, okay? The bands that I was involved with in Florida in the day, they were all, the bars that they were playing had them playing these cover tunes.
Yeah.
The good ones actually started writing some of their own music and injecting it in, right? Yeah. But at some point when a band goes from doing cover tunes to doing their own music, and that starts connecting, then they have something. They have a chance.
Yep.
But after that, then it's really just you have to. That's like you've just gotten you're working on your PhD and you've just passed your basic oral test
Your
to
ex-
say,
your
okay,
final test.
now you can proceed. You've got it here. You go no further, or else that's it. And they, yeah, but it's I mean the model these days is so strange because things can be can be instantaneous, and the corporations almost seem just like completely
Yeah, but
just
it's also
random how who they support and all. But they're now following the business model, and that's the easiest thing to track what they're going to do. They're going to do whatever brings them
Okay.
money.
Yeah.
let's keep the conversation to the past music biz, because the modern music business, if you can call it a business or if you can't call it music
yeah.
anymore,
Versus
that's a
anything else.
longer conversation that is going to keep us for a couple, at least two. It's going to keep us here until my dawn, which is not that far away. Let's go to the American dream. I can play music or I can write music, and how do I go from my notebook to playing that music? Or, because that's another thing I'm learning. I mean, there's many ways to make it in the showbiz in United States, just by judging by the information I get through internet. Okay, I don't have first-hand testimony of anything but what the interviewees claim in their interviews. That's all I know. I don't know the reality of what actually happened in that room, in that place, in that point of history. I know why they tell me. So please don't don't quote me on that, or don't hold me responsible for inputting anything bad into anybody's mind. So making it on music, it has many shades and many sides, because you can be a writer, or you can be a performer, or you can be a producer, or
An agent.
because we
I was going to say
An
an agent.
no, I was about to say recording engineer. I said you could be. There's many steps. There's many expertises, if that's a word in English. Many numeral expertise,
Should be.
expertise,
That should
many
be a
times.
good word.
Expertise is involved in making music what music became, which to me peaked in the 1980s. Although, if you ask me, it peaked in 1978.
Uh-oh.
Problem is, it stayed there a little too long, so the fall went down at the end of the 80s.
We're talking
But to me-
disco.
Yeah.
Also disco, but
okay.
even everything was happening around disco, or even more important, everything that survived disco, learning from disco, learning what not to do or learning what to do. That, come on, some disco music was awesome. Some of it was awesome.
Really?
Yeah. Trust me. Some of those songs are probably 10 or 15 songs of what was
Of
that,
thousands.
7-year period? Thousands and thousands and thousands on every country. Trust me, we had our this. Well, sorry. See, that's when the dictatorship did us a solid, because we missed the disco era, because discotheques were kind of banned or unaffordable for most of the population. So Spain missed that train, although he tried to make up for it through the 80s. Spanish music in the 80s was somewhat, well, Spanish music through the 80s, just remember that in 1979 is the official death of Franco, of the dictator. Right?
79?
79, yes.
Yeah.
No.
He lasted a long time. Too long.
Well, yeah, 79, I think. Well,
I'd-
78 or 79.
I'd-
I can
well,
give you months. It's months. It's
Oh,
never
jeez.
before 78 and never before the 80, because
That was one of
It-
the early shticks of Saturday Night Live news, though. And like the first season, and that was 75, 76.
no. He died in 79.
Generalissimo Francisco Franco
Yeah.
is still dead. Film at 11 or something.
The thing is,
they milked that for
That's like
months.
Fidel Castro.
But yeah.
He's hanging out with Fidel Castro now.
And McConnell, yes,
Yeah.
once
They play
again,
bridge.
I'm Googling.
JFK.
Ooh,
that's right.
huh.
75, I feel 75 or 6.
Well, Google says you're right.
Oh,
Jeez. Well, I
Well,
wrote Google it up.
20th.
No.
when did you leave Spain?
He never left Spain. He's
No,
still in
when
Spain.
did you leave Spain?
Oh, 2013.
Oh,
I didn't move because of the dictatorship. My although my mom was being driven to a train the night that sorry, so I'm confused. So when Franco died, according to this, 20th of November 1975.
And when
Okay,
did SNL start? September 75. There. Ha ha. I mean,
right.
it was early because
I said already. So
yeah, I
Franco
started watching
dies.
the
Yeah.
second show.
it was.
found
I was in
Franco
college.
dies. So those 5 years between, because I think the constitution is 1980 in Spain, or is the constitution 1979? Well, in 80 everything exploded in Spain because suddenly everybody was free to do whatever within reason, nothing criminal, but whatever they fancy to do, which was legal, which was a big change, trust me. So in 1979-80, then is when all the restrictions of all the import music totally cleared, because
Wow.
up to that point, up to 75, everything had to pass through the censorship. It had to be allowed into the country, although they opened the fist a little bit, trying to pretend some normalcy to Europe for many reasons.
Sure.
But for instance, we know disco not so much from America, but from Italy. We had all
Right.
these jockeys from Italy coming in, but not so much from France. We didn't have that much coming from France through the dictatorship, right? France came afterwards. So it was kind of a cultural explosion. In 80, all the movements, punk, hard rock, blues, soul, jazz,
at
disco,
once.
That's
everything landed from everywhere, from anywhere, and we didn't know how to do about it.
So you guys didn't have like pirate radio like the Brits?
No, there's
Shortwave
only one.
radio.
Yeah.
Once again, there was only one television service and only one radio service allowed legally for the whole
Right.
country.
Well, that's
So
why they got
unless-
pirate radio. Because
Yeah,
they
but
were so restricted that basically they camped out just offshore and could broadcast a signal to hit, just the local
Yeah,
regions.
but
there's
for
still-
that,
Yeah.
you need to have receivers and expanders. Also, half of Spain is very rocky. So
yeah. Well,
radio diffusion, which is
Yeah.
the name of the central system, it's kind of tricky because you need a ton of repeaters to spread through the country. Yes, everybody, the Catalonians had everything coming from France. They could
Right.
sync with the French music coming through the Pyrenees, which is already a wall of rock.
right.
Right.
But you couldn't
But-
get those stations.
If you were there, but
Right.
nothing souther or wester than them. That's another reason why Catalonia was always one step ahead the rest of the country, because they had all the cultural influence. So 80s was really messy. So we had basically new romantics, synth pop, disco, and punk rock all fused in one.
Right.
And Spanish bands trying to create the same, to play within the same styles.
Sounds
But once again,
exciting.
the problem is the people who could probably should have not tried. Not everybody was that good, trust me. The fact that he had the information, because some of them, they managed to go outside and see for themselves. But then bringing it back, I mean, at one point, I don't know which year, but at one point, I've been told that you could get music albums confiscated in the toll coming back to Spain in the airport.
Wow.
You could have books confiscated. You could have records confiscated. Any type of information not aligned with the regime would be taken off and put in the and burned, basically.
Yep.
And obviously that was on the 30s, 50s, and 60s, but I think it lasted a big chunk into the 70s as well. So they were liberal, but within reason. They allowed a facade of freedom just to convince Europe, hey, we are gonna become, when Franco dies, we're gonna become a kingdom, which was the strangest movement that nobody expected from Franco, that he took a dictatorship and make it a kingdom. Sorry,
Not only
he
that,
put it
He made it a
back.
party kingdom, right?
No,
No, it's not a party
he
kingdom.
made it. He
Good
made
for
it
him.
a
Was for him.
constitutional monarchy.
Yeah.
That's what he left behind. But from the point that the crown would allow Franco followers to rule the country, while the crown being the head.
Sure.
Much more on the style of modern UK. Yeah, you got the royal house, which is
Figurehead.
a figure, although they still hold the power in the papers. They still hold it. They could execute whatever
Could
they
they
wanted
declare
to.
war on Iran?
They could, yeah. They have that priority.
There you go.
If. Okay, there's way more ifs than back in the day. But Franco was leaving that a monarch that would be a facade to appease the other monarchies in Europe, and a democratic system, so they would finally have access to external commercial markets for money sake, under a facade of democracy, but ruled by his people. That was his plan. Obviously, the plan kind of failed for the first 5 years, because obviously the first time we had free elections, we didn't choose a right-wing party. We chose the leftist party who everybody agreed that would make good for the country, which wasn't really that leftist. It was, when they took power, they were already leaning to center.
Yeah.
But by the time they left the country, they were right-wing already.
Yeah, because they were in power.
And they had money, tons of it.
That's
Good,
all.
sorry.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. So we miss the disco, I don't know, debacle of the United States. We miss that one, because what I'm learning now is that you really went all in. You went from tons of types of music, just disco, and then back to anything but disco.
Yeah.
That's what is going down in history.
Yeah, there was a lot going on in that era, though.
Yeah, there was.
Because
It was
the
not
thing is-
publicized.
Right. The thing is, disco was, it was certainly, depending on your locale, all right? Like, for example, where I lived was a black hole of entertainment. We had one AM radio station in the town, and then there was like a couple of AMs or FM, 40 miles away or whatever. That was it, So, yeah, if I was going to hear anything on the Casey Kasem Top 40 Countdown, it was probably going to be disco at some point. I graduated high school in 1977, so that whole 75 to 80 era, smack dab in the middle of it, and all like that. But then you move somewhere where there's a lot more activity. So I moved to Tampa from the Panhandle, and now there's a lot more radio stations. There's a lot more music going on. There's a lot more TV stations. Back then, most of the music I got was from TV shows. If you were lucky, that was and basically things you got to go to, if able to go out to bars or whatever, and you'd see a lot more music. And obviously Tampa was going to be more southern rock and stuff like that, but we had a little bit of punk going on, and there were even bands that sort of were disco bands, but comparatively speaking, it was not. Yeah, it was
I
one
have two
thing.
questions.
And if you go to a disco bar, you would hear disco music, but if you went to a rock bar, you'd hear rock music and so on. Yeah.
That's the other thing that always made me dream with a better world about learning from United States. But I have one question.
The Coke was better at disco bars, I point out. So anyway, but yeah.
Let's not explain
So
which
I
type
hear.
of which
So I
type
hear.
of
I don't know.
of one. So, my question is, when national radio happened in United States?
So what you got first were syndicated shows. So I mentioned Casey Kasem's Top 40 Countdown. That was on, what was it, every Saturday or something like that. And that would be broadcast on radio stations across the country. But it was like a pre-recorded show. But a single, like a Sirius XM we have now, right? Satellite radio, stuff like that. There
No, I mean
there was no national. No, okay. So for example, we had like the National Broadcasting Channel, right? Are you like? I mean, when my parents were kids, radio was everything, and you had the NBC network. So these stations would be affiliated with NBC and would get their, standard content, like their news broadcasts. National news would be the NBC, guys,
It's
and
very
the
much like
CBS for that and
television.
all like that. But radio, that kind of died out, I feel, in the 60s. You still had those, but you pretty much, your stations might be affiliated. Well, because there was the big. I don't know if you know about the radio payola scandals of the late 50s.
I remember that. No,
Nope.
that was early 70s.
No, this was in the 50s. It started off in the 50s. Yeah, the big payola scandals, and I think that's what broke up the networks, because basically they were paying the DJs to play these records, and it became like a national. It was big enough that it became a big scandal, right?
It was later than that.
And yeah, I'm pretty sure, but it probably happened again in the 70s because how do you regulate
the big one? Because I was working in our college radio station at the time, and
Yeah.
that was absolutely glorious, because I think it was actually the late 60s
well,
when
because I thought the 50s, that wasn't that what who was the first DJ guy? What's his name? The guy
I thought-
in
I
the
thought
guy
that
in Cleveland, Alan something. I forget his name.
Yeah.
I
It
thought
was
that
something like that.
paying the radio station to get your artists played and list and spread it and promoted was the thing from step one, from the get go. That was what created music
It may have
radio
been,
across
but
the
I mean,
country.
but there was a big scandal, like
Yeah.
he was saying, and whenever it happened,
Well,
anyway.
when it
When I got to college, though, I was working in the radio station. Because of that, what all the recording companies started doing is sending out promotional records.
right.
In other words, so if you were a radio station, you didn't have to go out and buy records to play on the air. You got them free.
Yep.
Exactly.
And we had our it was a small college in the beautiful Shenandoah Valley. It was a wonderful place to go to school, but I mean, it was out in the sticks, and we were categorized because with the FCC, you had to, basically when you got your radio station registered, you said, okay, what's your format, and we were basically folk, country, rock, and jazz. All right.
You have to establish that. Please,
And
let
so
me
though
stop you
any
for a second.
Any albums, any LPs in that category produced by anybody, we got.
For
and-
free.
And so, working in a radio station, we
Just one-
what is this? Let's listen to this one,
Just one second. Culture of Ghost. I wouldn't know because I wasn't here. I was in UK in the 90s. So thanks for the info. But sorry,
Yeah.
let me just.
I believe
show
that.
you.
I mean, I could see where it went national. I mean, not national.
But it goes over
It
my
got
head.
syndicated, and
Okay.
Yeah.
so God, but
Thank you very much for the information, but sorry, it goes over my head. that
Name
you're
sounds
telling
familiar.
these other two guys.
But anyway,
So, yeah, that's how I always understood radio. At least that's how I understood it. It always worked in Spain. I mean, if you wanted your record played, and that's probably another thing that I'm a little spoiled, because one of the things that Franco did first when in power is to create a nationalized television and radio organism to cover the whole country all the time. So he did the network of all the aerials, or the repeaters, to spread the signal as far and wide as he could do, because it was a propaganda tool for the regime to keep everybody under control and align with the government, just as a tool, as in, because
Control.
it's control. And one thing, although he was called because he was executing as a fascist, but I think, don't quote me on this, he wasn't very keen on Mussolini. He would never see eye to eye with Mussolini. I think he was a little more prone to Hitler, but only he kind of, in a way of speaking, he had to kiss Hitler's ass because of his military weaponry and power, not because he did agree, because apparently Franco had the plan to bring back the country back to a monarchy from the first shot of his coup d'etat.
Well,
That was his plan all along.
Hitler
Then why did
supplied
he
him with
fight the
weapons.
monarchy?
Did Mussolini supply any weapons to?
I don't think they gave him weapons, but I'm pretty sure they probably gave him food, probably fuel, and certainly troops.
No, there was. I remember that there was the Italian Air Force as well as the Luftwaffe.
Okay.
They were involved in the Spanish Civil War.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
because
they kind of looked at it as, okay, this is a proving ground,
Yeah.
for our military. We get to test it.
That was it.
And the Soviet Union did as well.
with
I
airplanes.
don't think any with aircraft. There were Russian Soviet aircraft and pilots in the.
I
in the Spanish Civil
cannot
War.
deny that, but the way they teach us the story, even when the story was taught by the left-wing government, the democratic government, if you can call it so, is that it's called the Spanish Civil War. Okay.
Yeah, it was three sides to it.
There were more than three sides, trust me, because
three
sadly,
major.
yeah, because the left wing and that's what the history books went down written claim was the final scene or the final flaw of the counter regime troops is that they were too divided. They never agreed how to rule the war, let alone the peace, right? Because that's why Franco wiped them off, because the Franco troops were one troop with one head, one command, and the other side were basically arguing how to kill fascists, how is the right way to kill fascists. Well, and down in history is going that I don't doubt that in the, I can't remember what is the right denomination of the non-dictatorship side.
Weren't they the
It's not
nationalists?
rebels. I don't think they would call themselves nationalists because
thought
they
it
all
was
were pretty
well,
left wing.
The way I recall was the fascists versus the nationalists, but do I have that?
Well, there were the communists in there too.
Well, right, but
But that's what I mean.
and
There
who
were
knows?
so many factions that finding. I can't remember how we did call it because I'm not a scholar of history neither. I'm a scholar of nothing. But that side never actually had control of any landing ground for airplanes, left alone bombing skills or even air fight power.
Right.
It was a war that was purely fought on ground.
Yeah.
Yes, tanks, yes, vehicles, yes, machine guns, but there's not enough happenings or events happening in the Civil War about plane against plane from both sides. Dogfight was not a thing in Spain. What the biggest air intervention that is going down into the Spanish Civil War is the German bombing of El Guernica,
Right.
which was unseen in the territory, but also unseen in the country because it discriminated nobody.
Yeah.
It wasn't a military target. They just wiped off a whole population.
Yeah.
Nobody survived. Kind of Hiroshima shit, as in playing the whole thing, and because they were also extra infuriated because obviously when you're losing your relatives, you don't really think straight, and I don't think anybody should. But hey, is the fact that those Nazi bastards wiped off the whole village. Franco managed to make it a divide. It's if it would have been the dictatorship Air Force, we would have not do it being so cruel. But the Germans did, the Nazis did, and the Nazis are on our side, so don't mess with us. Kind of situation politically. Although they never made an excuse, they never apologized ever, because they meant to do it. So, but so where's the doggy?
She's upstairs.
Okay, because he
Not
has
my cat.
a chunk of lungs.
Today's
So
her birthday.
So and all this was because Franco made Radio National and Television National. Although we only had two channels from 65 to 75, or I don't know, whenever it started. Can't remember. I'm not gonna bother to Google it. So I always had the concept that radio was nationwide. It's not until nowadays, 2026, that I'm really learning how big United States actually is, and what does that mean for any social event, any culture, anything spreading. I mean, yes, I just went into Google Maps and said, okay, let's, for shits and giggles, what would it take me to drive from New York to LA? It shocked me. It turned back 43 hours. I was expecting 7 days.
That's not stopping.
No,
Yeah,
that's
exactly.
not something.
Don't sleeping, not eating, not drinking, not peeing, nothing. Just on a car, flat out, full speed, not breaking the speed limits, obviously, non-stop. 43 hours.
And not hitting any traffic.
Yep.
Obviously. I mean, non-stop. Full speed, travel speed for 43 hours.
Yep.
When
People do it.
I was expecting more like it's gonna be, I don't know, 150 hours or 120 hours, because all I heard is people on tourism crossing the country on his own spare time. Yeah. 3, 4, 5 days,
Now,
because you stopped.
before Eisenhower was president,
Mm-hmm.
it would have taken a lot longer. He
Yeah.
started the Interstate Highway Program, where the federal government would come in and connect all the highways and build all these wonderful highways, and that's why you can do it in 43 hours.
Right.
Obviously.
Prior to that, it could take you weeks to months, because you'd be on dirt roads, and there'd be some places where a road would end at a state line and there was no road on the other side. And there was a group of guys, I think in the 1920s or 1930s, that did it. And
Mm-hmm.
it took them a
yeah.
long time to drive coast to coast.
The transcontinental race. Yeah.
Yeah, it was.
Because, for instance, on
They
a
had
tr-
to-
on a
They had to
train,
bring like 2 engines for each car because they knew
lots of tires.
and lots
That
of
was-
tires. Everything was like
and suspensions. But
No
for
gas
instance,
stations, you know.
that's another good point. Gas stations on the road, enough gas stations on the road. For instance, if you took let's imagine. I don't think it is that the case anymore. If it ever was, imagine it would be a train line going from New York City to LA City, non-stops, just point to point.
God, what a dream.
I think they did have those at one time.
They did they?
No, they never had a full express, I don't think. Cause
Not all the way. No,
yeah,
it would be
the thing
quick.
is, there's enough intermediate stops that it makes sense. So, for example, we'd have and they had all these fancy names and stuff like that. But you'd have a train that would go, say, from New York to Chicago, and it would hit like maybe Pittsburgh or Cleveland, a few cities along the way, But that was sort of like the main. And then if you want to go to L.A., go then to take the Chicago to, Denver, and then a Denver to L.A. or something like that.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
you'd say like it's the New York to L.A., but it would be in this segment it's this clipper trip or train, and this one is the express to the whatever. And they have that's the way they would do it. But
So yeah,
could
you
still
would
get
be able
across, but it was. And
you
the
will be
thing-
able to buy the ticket, but you actually were buying a serial of connections of trains.
Yeah.
Well, it might even
Right?
be the same train.
Yeah.
But it becomes this
Okay.
train on this, they change the engine or whatever. But it becomes a
Sure.
different name for the train in that
Okay.
segment of the run.
Yeah.
But how long
But
would
yeah,
that take? Are we talking
But
what,
then,
2 days?
Well, and then you talk about
Days.
1970, it becomes Amtrak. Yeah, actually, trains are slower.
Obviously.
So I
and
watched
more
I watched a
stops.
video. My kid baby watched a video last night of a couple who take a train from Toronto to Vancouver across Canada, and it literally only made like 3 stops. So it's chugging
Wow.
along.
Well, that's the only thing that's in
But-
Canada.
Yeah, well, but because they're an influencer or whatever like that, they tried each class of sleeping arrangements. So and it took 4 days to get to Vancouver
Wow.
by train. That's basically, except there were a couple places where I had to stop for there was a maintenance thing or what like local
A
traffic.
moose.
So it wasn't a
A moose
complete
on the
express,
tracks.
and it's not doing like 250 miles an hour because it's a scenic train. They got observation cars and all like that. But the point is, yeah, it took 4 days to go across country, and that's you're sleeping on the vehicle there. If
Yeah.
you're driving, it's seriously.
Okay, and once again, because I'm trying to
That's-
educate myself,
Yeah,
another thing that is going on nowadays because of computers and stuff is finally it's leaking the real information of how the planet actually looks like. And there's a movement on the internet, obviously, that is trying to right the wrong of the conventional maps.
Oh,
Yeah.
You
Well,
know that-
that's been
The
going
Mercator
on forever.
projections or
Yeah,
whatever.
you need a globe.
that's it.
That's
the only
one.
way.
But if you have to make it flat, where do you do the cuts and what do you do to rearrange the countries on the
there's-
map to make
yeah.
them look how they actually be, guys?
Yeah, there's
So the latest
Mercator
one,
projection and
the latest one was showing that Canada is actually wider than United States.
yeah. Well, when you put it
Oh,
on
yeah.
a flat map, yeah, it looks like, and it's not.
Ah, okay,
Right.
good. So it's not actually wider,
Yeah,
as
at
in
it-
kilo
get yourself
miles.
a globe and look at the globe. That's the.
I
way.
get you. So music-wise, yes, we ditched the bullet of disco in a way of speaking because we basically
lucky.
merged with everything else. So our disco was less disco than the disco. But and American radio was apparently not real-time national. It was more like related as and
Well,
repeated from
depending
station
on where
to
you
station.
were. So I had, like I said, we had this little AM station. So they were playing I feel like a handful of records on heavy rotation.
Mm-hmm.
And then in between, it'd be like the local news on the hour and some other thing they'd interject, but it was
Two questions.
very small scale, yeah.
Two questions. Even that station, okay, let's focus on that knowledge you have.
But
Even
then they
that
might
station,
get the Casey Kasem show on Saturday afternoon. They'd they'd broadcast that, which was a nationally syndicated show, and there were some other shows along that line. Yeah,
choose any of them, okay? The question is, would they make a point because the sheer size of the country and the regionality of styles and trends culture-wise, would they make a point if that station is playing albums from bands from the whole country to pinpoint the origin of the band?
That'd be hard.
Would they say, oh, this band from Chicago, or this band from LA, or this band from Texas, or this band from Austin, or this band?
I'm
They
going to say
wouldn't,
no
right?
only because I didn't feel like I got any information along that. So now they would play like obviously because I was in the Panhandle of Florida, so I'm going to hear more Leonard Skinnerd than I am New Order. Like.
Yeah.
Like English music didn't exist except for a handful of classic, let's play this classic Beatles track or something like that. But
Or
we
if
weren't-
you were living in New York, I understand. I
well,
assume.
yeah, similar thing.
Big-
they had
big
more
cities
Well,
with-
they had more stations going on, right? And then
No, more like big cities where the culture was actually landing on the country, not having to spread or go expressly to that city to spread.
Sure,
I mean,
but New York, for example, even in the 70s, New York was a big market as far as the number of stations and the variety of stations.
obviously,
Right.
because
And the
they
had-
offer.
number of people. Yeah.
Right, and the number of people, and that they're so densely packed in. You pick up stations from states all around there, and all like that, and so you're going to get wide variety stuff.
Yeah, and assume that anybody in the middle of the country would get basically local
Well, would you-
artists and
Well, if you're in Chicago, you've got Chicago stations, and maybe can you get something from Wisconsin or something? Like there's some other
yeah, but
city,
Okay.
but there's nothing. Yeah, there's nothing that's going to blow out
That's-
the signal
that's
of a
where-
Chicago station.
that's where my geography fails, because when you say Chicago, I think quite northeast, very close to Canada.
Okay, so let me let me
that.
throw you some. Here we're going to
But
go
it's,
dead.
it's all flat.
I'm going to dead center here. We're going to go to Kansas City, Kansas, right? Which is the mate city to Kansas City, Missouri, but the Kansas one is a little bigger. So it's the same. It's one bigger, but okay. That's it. There's nothing else. So whatever Kansas stations are now, there's a college town, 100 miles away, and they might have a couple of stations, and but it's a question of signals carrying. In planes, those signals will carry. But still, it's like those Kansas City stations are going to blow out anything from outside coming in.
But
And-
would they? That's
and
my
they-
question.
Well, I'm just saying that yeah, but you've got a handful of stations, and that would be it. Where you have more in New York, and like in Kansas, you might have one NBC affiliate, whereas in New York, you might have three because you're getting the Newark, New Jersey one, the New York City one, the one. So, yeah, there's like five or whatever, that kind of thing.
I assume also the amount of bands trying to make it in New York would make, I don't know, Iowa pale.
Because of course
Yes,
they've been taught that if they can make it there, they can make it
You
anywhere.
can make it anywhere.
Yeah. And that's, all my friends in high school that wanted to be career musicians,
That's right.
they went to
They
New
moved
York
it.
City. They
Went to New York.
How
Whereas my
many-
friends
how
in
many-
Tampa all moved from New York because they couldn't make it up there. No. No.
And
Yep.
just let's get into the Cornish level. What would you say is the real proportion in United States? 10% of acts that actually make a living. Let's put the bar there. Make a
Oh,
living,
no,
paying your bills.
I mean, 10%.
Full-time musician,
That's pretty
just
high.
musician.
Wait,
That's pretty
talk
high.
to me.
10% high.
Are you saying 10% of working musicians make a living?
No,
out of it?
10% of everybody who
musicians
picks
make
up
it.
an instrument
Like
and
us.
has a drive to become a musician.
Like the three
How
of
many
us.
of those?
Not
Well, but
put
1%.
a few decimal
half
points
of me gave up already.
in front of
Maybe
that.
1%.
I
maybe.
don't even think 1%. I think a tenth of a tenth of a tenth of a percent. Literally.
Yeah.
I mean, look
And
at.
put it in.
So I'm going to
and
say,
put it in
do the
perspective.
math. Think, how many people do you know? Let's say, how many people would you say that you're counting in this class have made it? 1,000?
Sorry, between who?
You. So in other
Yes.
words, you've defined a class of people who are
Yes.
making a living in the music industry, and that's a
Yeah.
pretty broad group of people in
Yeah.
my mind because I know a lot of folks in engineers and
No, but
whatever like
musical
that.
instruments.
Yeah, that not just performers, but who are
Okay.
who literally this industry is feeding their family and paying their
Yeah.
mortgage, right?
Yeah.
And I guarantee, so let's say 1,000. Can you come up with
Uh-huh.
a list of 1,000 performers, producers, names that who are literally, this is where they're going, right? And let's
My
I won't forget.
knowledge-
Let's forget about like roadies and stuff because they're really
Mm.
part-time help and all like that. But people who are literally in the industry making, and I won't say a paycheck per se, but they okay. And I'm going to
Okay.
say 1,000. I feel that's a strong, solid number that I know.
I'm just,
maybe
what I'm,
maybe 5,000. But I'm going to say you compare that to the millions, or even add another zero because now we've got
that's-
Asia, right? So you got like
No, whoa, no. Wait.
the
Stop.
Bollywood people.
No,
like,
that's
okay.
that's not where I'm going to. No. First of all, regionally, geographically, United States of America. Just that. Forget
I'm
the
just talking how
Canadians,
many-
the Mexicans.
how many fishes are out there? How many bands or four guys started playing together and they actually
From
made it?
anybody who once
Right.
said, I'm going to try to make it in music in United States of America, and the line being able to pay the bills just by music,
Damn near
compared from the,
zero.
so you're talking
Not zero.
Well,
zero,
actually,
See, 0.1
decimal?
because somebody's done it.
yeah,
No,
it's very few, but actually, come to think of
proportionally to the people who tried. That's my point. That's the
it,
ratio I'm looking
well,
for.
at the time, this is when I just got out of college. I had my physics degree. I was going to go into engineering, but I burned out getting my physics degree, so I ended up being an engineer anyway. But my brain was so fried. I became a guitar bum for like 3 or 4 years after I got out of college. And two of my friends that I was involved with, one of them, he ended up. Who was it? Who was the woman that was Dorothy, the black woman who was Dorothy in The Wiz?
Oh my God. Yes, I know who you tell me.
Diana Ross.
Diana Ross.
No,
Yes.
no, it wasn't. No, the original. It wasn't Diana Ross. It was. She
The
did that
only-
later. It was another. It was a younger black woman. than her.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I got the name escapes me right
What?
now. Anyway, he ended up playing guitar for her. He
Okay.
got into her band.
Uh-huh.
Melba
No.
Moore.
No, wasn't that? What was it? She was a child, pop singer. Anyway, but she was grown up when she had her own band and recruited him as a guitarist. Another guy I started out playing guitar about the same time I did in early, middle school. He went on to be the classical guitar chair at the University of
That counts.
And another was a drummer, Phil Schimmel. He went up to Brooklyn and he was a freelance drummer and he still is
Yeah.
doing that. But
So,
for 3
do you-
years,
do you reckon?
For 3 years, I was making a living wage as a guitar player.
So
As
can we talk about?
mostly teaching?
Right.
But that
yeah,
was,
that
all,
counts.
Teaching-
all of us were teachers.
That's
where our
the
money
other
came
component.
in.
Right.
And
That's
So-
the other component.
so
Okay,
teachers,
let me reframe
Okay.
reframe this. If we count together the whole showbiz,
Right.
I'm reluctant to count agents, the people who find you deals and jobs.
yeah,
I'm reluctant to count those,
Okay.
but even counting those,
they're important.
You don't see YouTube channels about, hey, let's be an agent. I'm going to teach you the secret. No.
yes, you do, and I'm finding
yeah.
2 or 3 of them.
Oh,
That's
oh,
But
because
hey,
that's sad.
Don't get me started
because
on
now
that.
it's totally different game. But are we getting close to a 1% of not the population of United States, but 1% of everybody with a drive into music in United States
I don't
makes
think,
it?
I think
Maybe.
Maybe.
1% is huge compared to the real number in my mind.
Because that means that
think-
Spain is way better. Because my perception is, and I'm gonna nuance this by explaining that the proportion of people who attempt music in Spain against people who doesn't is smaller,
Well,
because
that's
you
it.
get
See, yeah.
because you get heavily dissuaded before you even get a chance to try.
Do you get music in school?
No. Well, sorry. Yeah, but you get taught what music is, but never what music really
Yeah,
is.
see here-
You don't get to play. You don't get to rent an instrument. You never get to learn an instrument
My
because
what I
Spain
encountered was
is
even slower. But my
Because
kids here
it's-
started an instrument in 3rd grade, and then in 4th grade they could what was it? They did I think it was like a string instrument in 3rd grade,
yeah,
then a wind instrument they could do in 4th grade.
yeah.
And the school systems, I mean, for me, I started trumpet in 6th grade, and then cello in 9th grade, and in high school. But the point is, I always had music, strong music, in the public school.
Yeah.
music education, and
In
you know,
Spain,
Good.
when you started getting into bands in high school, especially as it becomes extracurricular.
if you're lucky,
Yeah.
you get 1 year in primary, 1 year in secondary,
Yeah.
and whatever you manage to pay in college.
Right.
That's all. And the year in primary, you might do boot blocks and plastic flute recorder.
Yep. Oh,
if
that,
you if
yeah.
you
That was
if you
third
are
grade
on a
for me.
if you are on a private school who can afford that,
No.
otherwise you just listen to recordings. On high school, if they haven't removed that teaching from high school, definitely not 3 years, definitely not 2 years, and definitely not hands-on music. Once again, recorder, if any, and or percussion, but don't think about it. Tons of theory. Well, not tons, as in, oh, this is music, these are notes, this is the staff, this is how you read.
And I'm not
Done.
talking about like choir or something, because we always got
No,
shoved
no.
in the choir.
Not a chance to sing in Spain, not in school, because Spain musical education is heavily derailed into the conservatoriums.
Okay.
So if you want to do music,
Right.
and at the time when I did it, because it was free, like every education in the country, we were very communist on that regard for the education. So education was majorly free, at least the bad one. If you wanted higher proper education, then you had to pay for. That was the one you had to pay for, right? But it was universal education. But if you want to do musical education, although it was free, as in being taught was
Right.
free, everything around being taught, including the instrument, that comes out of your pocket, which was the first deterrent from anybody trying, because very few people on my generation could afford a musical instrument.
Yeah.
Okay, because we're talking 80s and 90s in Spain. Every 80s and 90s instruments, entry level instruments, were shit if you could get import quality ones from China or Japan, which Spain never had a chance except for Yamaha, right? And Yamaha was already some level that implicated an investment, sometimes even borrowing money, just to get the instruments so the child could try to learn.
Oh my God.
Going through the conservatory. You would
mean,
get all the theory and all the singing practice you could. You wanted if you
when I
stick
was
to
going
it.
through the music store, the Bain store in Tampa, in the early '80s, and I'd have to walk past the synth section to get to the recording section, and I'd see all these great synthesizers, the ARPs and all of them there, and it'd be like, $2,000, $3,000, and I'd be like, I make $5,600 a year as a graduate assistant. It's like, no way. How could you possibly consider something like that?
Finance.
Yeah, really.
Yeah, but
Oh,
at
there's no
least
finance.
Well-
There'd be no income, whatever. But the point is that, yeah, it wasn't a $200 synthesizer. Okay, I can learn from this, but
the difference.
I bought a
if you want-
$250 piano, so I did have that.
Wow. Okay, that's you see, that's another
Well, it was
completely.
made in 1916. It was kind of beat up.
Yeah, that's another completely different headspace. In Spain, nobody under basically high class or functionaries working for the state would even be able to own a piano.
Yeah.
Very, unless you were a professional musician,
See, now
which
that-
meant classical musician, basically.
that could be a cultural
Only-
thing in America, because in America at the turn of the last century, pianos were huge,
Yeah.
and like people could afford, like they would go into debt, whatever. But it was like a major, you didn't have an
Yeah.
entertainment system; you had a piano, and the people in the family would learn to play
Yeah.
and all like that.
Spain
so
couldn't
that's-
even do that.
My family always had a piano, except when we moved from Honolulu to India or something like that. Okay, but when we settled in Toronto, well, the first thing my dad did was get a piano and start getting me into lessons. And my
It
parents had
took me-
pianos in when they were here in Baltimore and like that. It was a family
took-
thing. Yeah.
It took me 16 years and moving to a completely different province for me to find somebody who owned a piano in Spain.
Yeah, and the thing is, here people would own a piano and not even be able to play it. It was just like a
by-
thing you
wait,
had.
And by piano, I mean a real acoustic piano.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yes, I knew a couple of people who managed to afford keyboards, as in basically General Meaty stuff, right? As in the cheapo stuff.
Yep.
My friend, I had one friend that was going through college. Well, we met in high school and we started relating in high school, and then he moved into college to do his career on a completely different subject while trying to pay for his studies in college, doing cover gigs, corporate gigs, okay? Or the Spanish version of that. And he started, funny enough, the first synthesizer, the first keyboard he was able to buy was a Casio that, funny enough, I found secondhand here in UK and I bought it. So I bought the same model that he had to save and ask money to his parents to buy the first time.
Yeah. Well,
With that keyboard, he joined the band I was involved with. I wasn't playing any shit. I was just being a flight and helping out, basically being a roadie, an unpaid roadie at 12 years of age. And he was playing that Casio in that band, and that what grants him his first gig, cover band gig job with that Casio. And that took him, I think, 1 or 2 years doing that with that Casio keyboard, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
Because of that cover band gig job, he managed to save enough to ask his parents to negotiate a loan to buy him a Korg M1. And that was the first time I saw a synthesizer, not even in the shops.
Yeah.
They had to order expressly
Special
from
order.
Madrid to him, because anything branded Japanese made or American made, you had to go to Madrid to see one, let alone
like
buy one
cello.
or try one. Yeah,
I
exactly.
bought a cello in high school, and it took them 3 months to get it delivered down to Florida because where it was made and whatnot.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. Like,
And
okay.
and here in Spain, some shops would not even order the item before you put money down.
Sure.
So you had to learn through magazines or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know, catalogs. I can't imagine of any catalog in Spain existing, not even let alone being spread, but you had magazines, mostly imported, translated poorly into Spanish and imported into the country from probably UK or United States or France or Germany. Don't know. Never bought one. Learn about the item there and decide, yes, that's the one I want. Go to the shop, make a down payment, and then wait for the shop to bring it to you. And then you know if you actually bought the right thing. And
Wow.
I don't believe any of those shops would give you back your down payment if you didn't stick to pay the rest of the money for the keyboard. So that money was
Probably not.
lost no matter what. So your base case scenario, if you had the whole money to pay for the whole item, which was very rare,
Yeah.
you would put the down payment, wait for it, take it down, hate it,
Sure.
pay the full amount, and sell it right away. That was the only way. That was the only way.
It was that way here too, but at least you had a better chance of finding out if that's what you wanted or not.
Yeah.
Cool. I'm gonna do a little musical break because I want to play another song from the same artist.
All right.
Because I'm really keen on everybody hating me in this planet or in this platform. And after that,
I'm gonna do a shuffle here myself. I'm gonna
Cool.
do a quick potty run, but
I
I'll
need to
mute
do
myself, but I'll put it on speakers here so I can
I'm
actually
gonna
hear it.
remove
I'll mute the mic, okay?
and the camera. Could you mute both, please? Cool. Because that way, if you want, do you need to go away or rather stay? Get a full.
I'm gonna go get some more water. Take a
Same thing?
I'll be back in
Yeah.
three
just-
minutes. 3 minutes.
Yeah, it's okay. Just mute both, and in the meantime, I'm gonna play this.
Come on, where's my cursor?
And the camera. Wanna mute the camera? Wanna mute the camera, please? Thank you. And this is a second song that I understand is I like very much, very poignant, although it's really controversial. I don't stand by the whole lyrics of it, just 90% of it, I do agree. But it's still worth sharing for anybody who might find this interesting. Enjoy. So, did you hear that?
Yep.
Yep.
I, first of all, because I come from a country where fire weapons are, apart from hunting rifles, are not something common or widespread. In a way, kind of not really legal. Yes, in Spain you can own fire weapons, but they go through a very hard process that implies the government and the check of your weapons yearly, if not monthly, depending on the type, and the counting of your ammunition. You have to, I understand that you have to justify every single shell you fire. If any single shell ever goes unaccounted for, you get in trouble with the law.
Not a bad
That's
idea.
that's what I understand. Obviously, by accounted, I mean if you go to a firing range, you have to sign paperwork justifying that you're gonna fire 300 shells on the fire range. So the fire range will be testifying on your side. That's where your bullets went, on the fire range. At least that's what I was explained many years ago. I don't know if the situation has changed at all, but as I said, I only, in my whole life in Spain, in 37, 40 years, I only met 4 people who own fire weapons. 3 of them were for hunting, and the only person having a revolver never showed it to me. I never saw it. So it's not something you see outside. So that's one detail I don't back from the lyrics of this song. So I understand it's a different situation, and I totally understand that if you have the right to own tools for your survival, the government taking them away, it's not fair. It's illegal, technically. So also, I don't back the fuck the law as a leitmotif, but as long as the law ain't fair for all, ain't for y'all, as in the law, it's unfair, it's not supporting, it's not defending, it's not making their population better. Yeah, fuck the law. The law needs to be fought. It needs to be fought. Obviously, my point of view is from a pacific way first, as long as possible, until no other means is possible. Then you have to fight for survival, and sometimes survival means hurting people. I understand that. I don't like it, but that's what life is all about. So that was my my political corner of the show, because really it's like the other reason why I keep following those little snippets and the news is because comedians don't even have to do the work anymore. They just have to watch the news and play it back.
Yep.
They don't even have to think about making brilliant remarks. Everything is
funny.
already a joke.
You're talking
bad,
earlier
sad
about
joke.
sort of so much content and trying to filter out what's
Yeah.
real and what's whatever. And
Yeah.
at some point here, over 20 years ago, I feel it seemed like the most reliable news source in America was this comic show called The Daily Show.
That's one of my sources, believe it or not. And
mean,
I
it told you as
understand.
it is. It mocked what is, but it told you what it was.
And there's something I don't understand is why did Trump manage to get rid of Saturday Night Live and the Late Show, and I think he got rid of a third one, but he hasn't been able to shut up the Daily Show. Why are they still alive?
Is SNL gone?
Yeah, well, I think so.
News to me.
No.
I mean, they're on a summer. They have a better schedule than university professors. That's all I know. So,
Okay,
but yeah, they're on like summer hiatus or whatever.
I think
They'll
there
be
was
back.
something.
Well, and
Well-
then there's something that happens in whatever. There's something they don't come back until like end of September or beginning of October. So they
Oh,
got
could
a
be that,
late season. Yeah.
hopefully.
But I think no, they're still around. NBC hasn't been corrupted. I think CBS has been corrupted.
Well,
Well, they're
I
being, yeah.
So
wasn't aware about Fox until I saw their reports on the
Oh my God,
on the 250th. I went like,
are you kidding?
what?
You don't know about Fox News?
No.
I mean, Fox News is why
Why
we
would
have
I?
it. Donald
Why would
Trump.
I?
Well,
Yeah,
you
why
got,
would I?
You got to be careful that it's all of media in the United
Mm-hmm.
States is basically polarized,
Mm-hmm.
and there are a lot of government grants that go out to networks.
Okay.
Lord knows why the federal government needs to give them handouts, but they do.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's you can anything you see on a screen is not real. You cannot trust it.
Good.
Uh,
That's what I thought. That's why I
and-
keep checking different screens.
And I don't think you can even go in and stand in the back in Congress while they're in session and find out what they're really doing. I don't think
Okay.
there's any way to find out what our federal government is doing.
Are they in session anymore? I thought they quit. Didn't they decide
Well,
like,
they're
oh,
always- well, they're always taking breaks.
we're not gonna do this anymore. We're
Yeah.
not having fun. So something
Yeah,
like that.
but the one thing I have about that guy and his lyrics,
Mm-hmm.
just one.
Please. Please.
And that's where he goes that women don't have a male ego. That a woman
Oh,
president,
I missed that bit.
he said something about toward the end there that why we don't have a woman president because at least she wouldn't have the male ego. And,
I missed that bit. I never heard that.
And it's like what you've never seen Hillary Clinton.
Oh, wait. Wait.
Well,
I don't think he sings that. He probably put it in one of the signs in the video.
Okay, because I didn't have my headphones back on again. But
well.
yeah.
I don't think he's because what he's doing on the signs is not following the lyrics of the song. He's singing one thing and showing different things. So that's
Okay.
also part of his
Maybe
battle
maybe
ways.
he was making fun of that because
No. I think he believes that America could do with a female president.
but
I
the,
think
the
he's in
fact
that
that
side.
she wouldn't a female president wouldn't have
Yeah.
the ego of a male president. That's a
Oh fuck no! Not in America. Yeah, you find all sorts in America. I
come
mean,
on, Geraldine
even-
Ferraro.
yeah. Even from this
would
end of the screen, I can see that shit wouldn't fly in America. I mean, Spain kinda because most Spanish trad wives. We're still in that mentality. Although the new generations can't afford to be trad wives, you need both incomes just to
Yeah.
survive, just to make ends meet. But if it wasn't because of that, Spain is very sexist still in that regards. I'm getting. Yeah, this is gonna be the next one. But that's gonna be for closing.
Okay.
If anybody is left watching, if not, let's get back a little bit to gear because Mr. Guitarful informed me very recently that he's back on the luthier under the luthier hat and he's building a new guitar. Is that right?
Yep.
Tell us a little bit about it, please.
Okay. Well, it's a bit different from. Did I ever show you the one before? I don't think I did.
You show me the full body, but mostly solid Spanish nylon. Yes,
Yes. It's still right there.
that one.
But
Well, it's
this
one that looked like that one.
Yeah. But this one, well, I headphones hurt my ears after about an hour.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I have to
the problem
constantly
with
adjust.
that, using it as a synth controller, is I can still hear the strings on it.
Ah,
I mean, the bracing I put under the top, you
yeah.
could lay that guitar down in this case and stand on it. It is.
Okay, wow.
The braces are that tall
Yeah,
and
yeah,
that
yeah.
wide.
Yeah, but you still
and-
have a resonant box, which
Yeah.
does a little bit
Well,
of
that's why I got
amplification.
2 holes in it too, and
Yeah.
but it's still I can still hear it, and so this one is just it's a neck, and it's a big. Just a big log of cedrela that I got at this.
Mhm.
There's this wonderful lumber yard on the other side of town
Mhm.
from me. That's got all
So-
kinds of wonderful woods, but it's cedrela. People call it Spanish cedar,
Ah,
but
okay.
it's really from Honduras and Guatemala. And
Cool.
it's a-
Question, because I just heard another influencer, probably Red Shawl, don't quote me on that, saying that Spanish cedar belongs to the mahogany family.
Yeah, it's as stiff as mahogany. I think it probably does, but it smells wonderful. It's got an herbal smell to it. So I love
The
working with
mahogany
that.
I've ever seen, it was very kind of brownish, brown
Yeah.
sugar.
Yeah. Well, it's not that dark, but
But it's going
when you
on
see
that
furniture-
direction.
When you see furniture made from mahogany, they stain.
It's lacquered. Yeah,
It's
it's stained and
stained,
lacquered.
too.
I get it. But the one I've seen raw, it's kind of reddish brown on the way to brown.
Yeah, but it's a fairly light color.
And the Spanish cedar, cedro, I think is a totally pale yellow, white wood. That's why
Well,
I don't understand.
I've got neck blanks that are both African mahogany and cedro or cedrela is the Latin.
Yeah.
That I can't tell them apart unless I smell them.
Okay.
They look very, very close to
I never
each other.
knew. Okay.
Very
I never
close to
knew.
each other. But I had heard that in Central America, they actually make a tea out of the wood for digestive problems.
Very
But
likely.
but it smells like the sawdust smells like something you'd want to sprinkle on a salad. I mean, but it's just
Okay.
anyway. I got this board this cross section of about like that and 8 feet long, 2.5 meters long,
Wow.
and I got it down to like just 2 sections. But anyway, out of a piece about that cross section, that's what I carved the neck out of.
Mm-hmm.
But it goes all the way the headstock to the tail.
Mm-hmm. So is it
And
going to
then
be a neck through then?
It's
Single piece
basically
neck
going to
through.
be a big fat neck. Yeah. Well, I could go show it to you. I could run and go get it. It's still rough
Okay.
carved. I haven't done the fine carving yet.
Just one follow-up question, a silly one. Have you smelled both variants of Cedrela, South American and actual Spanish one? As in, do
I
they
don't
smell
know
the
that-
same?
I don't know that what all the luthier suppliers call it Spanish cedar, but I don't think any of it ever came from Spain.
Ah,
Spain,
Okay.
see, it comes
We
from
don't-
the region. It comes from the region in the Americas. All the luthery woods come from a region in the Americas that were colonies of Spain, and that's
Yeah.
where they got all the wood from. The Brazilian rosewood, the
Yes.
cedrela, except for the spruces, which the best spruce for tops comes from the Italian Alps. But
okay. Well, I was always under the impression that for Spanish guitars, and that's one of the reasons why the flamenco variant is a maple body and top.
Well, no,
Well,
that's Spanish Cypress. I mean, what they call Spanish cypress, or now they call it Mediterranean cypress, and it grows all around the Mediterranean. And that's got a
Cedro.
very strong smell to it. It's kind of a yellowish color, light
Yeah,
yellowish color.
yeah.
Uh, Hang on
There's
just
very
hang
apart
on
from
just a
I think
second.
it's
I will
yeah,
show
no,
you.
good.
Um, Here you go. This is your Cedro neck.
Coming.
It's got
Oh, yeah.
it's got a very thin amount of shellac on it.
Uh-huh.
And this
I
is
see.
this is your Spanish cypress
Hmm.
back and sides. This is
Exactly.
basically it.
Which gives the whole guitar a higher pitch and brighter tone and a little
Actually,
more volume.
uh, a lot of people think that actually the softer woods on the back and sides give you a deeper tone.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Yeah.
Flamenco is looking for a mid-rangey, trebly bright sound. They
A
don't want
punchy,
deep,
punchy sound. You want a punchy sound.
punchy and wiry. That's
Yeah.
why they need. They need more, a lot of clink and not so much toom.
Yeah.
Toom is good for classical.
Yeah.
That's
and
what the
also fairly low action for nylon as opposed to a classical. But look
Uh-huh.
how low the bridge is.
It is fairly low,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
your fretboard is also very low.
So yeah, but it's also for making the golpes better. You're closer to the top
Okay.
when you're playing. Uh,
You do realize that using the guitar as a cajon is fairly new in flamenco, right?
I mean, doing the golpes.
Yes. That's
Huh.
fairly very new. As in,
I thought
the
that was
obviously,
20th
last
century new or
I would never before the 90s run
No,
this.
Sabicus, Montoya,
Okay,
Minister de Plata,
possibly, as in
Constantly.
for a beat keeping, but not the crazy percussion cajon stuff that we that we see nowadays.
Yeah, now, but I think it's always been there. Is the percussive, but it's sporadic. It's not
yeah,
like a drummer. Yeah,
it's the one you mentioned is more like beat keeping, as in
Yeah.
keep the pulse of the song, probably to keep the tempo steady and don't drift. Even more, and probably, and this I'm making this shit up. Probably it's when they started to have to play with the orchestra, so the guitar player would not drift away from the orchestra beat or having to force the orchestra to catch up with his speed. Probably that's why they would put some little taps, and also I assume because probably at the same time as the advent of microphones for orchestras or for the player, because I've seen many times, probably more recent, when you play a guitar piece with an orchestra, they would, let me welcome back Uncle Chrome, they would put a farther away an ambient mic close to the guitar, because the guitar is always in disadvantage volume wise with the orchestra. So they would have the room mics for the orchestra, but one of them would be very close, as in 1.5 meters, getting a bigger sound, or even, I don't know, maybe closer. Not to the point of getting on mouth microphones or even inside the box microphones.
Not fifth and
But
12th fret.
no, not to that point, but also because they want to feel the whole guitar and probably even the taps on the box. But that's not unheard of in Spain when you play in Yepes pieces or Savikas pieces that where the guitar is actually the core of the piece and the orchestra is just holding and
No.
doing all the movements.
No, I'm thinking more like the gypsy flamenco when it's
No, those
guitar,
ones
singer,
are.
dancer, period.
You wouldn't
Some
believe
people
how.
clapping their hands. Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna tell you this tale. In one of my jobs, I was rigging PAs for rent. Not my PAs. I was an employee of the company doing this type of job. We get one time, in several instances, for the same occasion, for the same customer, we had to prepare and handle the PA inside a theater-like room for evangelical, well, Spanish, the version of a Spanish evangelical church ceremony. Yeah, the same type of church that is, I understand, run by the black community in the United States with all the soul and the gospel tradition.
Yeah.
In Spain, it's been having a birth since the 90s through the gypsy community. They're taking on the format and adapting it to the gypsy community culture. So what they play is not gospel, but it's flamenco. But it's the same orchestra, musicians, very skilled, changing instruments, playing whatever they want, getting the young ones to play 1 or 2 songs, playing for hours and hours. These events I had to do were all 5-hour longs. And the choir was 3 women in the middle of the, on a theater or on a cinema, you have all the seats, all the seats, all the lines and rows of people. On the middle of them, all 3 of them singing on a handheld SM58. And they weren't even putting it close to the mouth. They were just holding it lightly, casually, and singing their lungs out. They were louder than the PA.
Wow.
That's the power of proper flamenco singing technique.
Yeah.
Right? Obviously, it was not a 20,000 watt PA. It was something like, I think it was a 2,000 watt stereo PA for a whole cinema size room. But I couldn't believe those women were louder than the PA just through out of their lungs.
Yes.
Because they trained to be so.
Yeah.
Hey, before we go any further, let me say farewell because I'm starting to get booted again.
Okay.
StreamYard keeps losing the connection, and then I have to come back
All
in.
right.
So rather than having to keep interrupting you, I'll say farewell, and I'll just be long in chat.
Thank you for coming. See you
my
next
pleasure.
time. I'll keep you posted, and
Alrighty.
let's be in contact.
Oh, what
Enjoy
day
your
is
time.
next
Let me
month?
find out.
Yeah, I think I'm good for next month because KnobCon is the following weekend. I'm going to Chicago for that.
No, you're going to. Everybody's going to NobCon. Huh?
Well, Garen offered a lift, and I said, why not?
So are we talking September, right?
Yeah.
So
September
that's gonna
4th.
be 4th.
The 4th. Okay, sounds
Are
good.
you good?
Yeah,
Shall we meet then?
that works for me. See you then.
See you then. I am
And
sorry
Jeff,
for
I'll
your,
see you
for your
Sunday, I
problems.
hope.
Yep.
So-
EMPS.
And Garen's already hinted what he's going to be bringing, so he got a brand new Astrolab 37. So look out.
Ooh,
Ooh,
nice.
I don't think he's going to have it for long. No, he's having issues.
Why?
It's underwhelming.
I thought so.
I
expected so, sorry.
My immediate thoughts about the Astrolab are: one, they failed because they're only using Analog Lab as their underlying engine or assembler. I want the full Muse receptor from 2004, which had 8 instruments plus auxiliaries for effects and stuff like that. So
Okay.
8, not just 2, and it's just underpowered.
Okay.
So he starts losing voices. He's voice stealing like crazy when you get into some
And-
heavy pads, and Pigments is cranking away, and all the oscillators and engines and all, and this is yeah. So anyway,
So let
Culture-
me guess. That'll probably be on his Monday show then.
oh yeah, definitely. He's gonna milk it until then, and he might change his mind, but he did an unboxing video, and is like, yeah, he in the end is like, well, yeah, no.
Okay. Just before you go, Culture of Ghosts, thank you very much for coming. I hope you can make it for next month. You have any questions or doubts or any suggestions for subjects we can do in the show? Please write it down or send us a text or come and join us in Discord. The address is underneath my name. Thank you very much. Nice night.
All right, take care. And
Uncle
I don't
Grump.
want to let you guys go away, so I'll just say farewell and
Take care.
I'll be in the chats. Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. See you soon.
Well, we're at the 2-hour mark anyway.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up in a minute, very quickly. But before that, you ask and I shall apply. So, I myself, out of in Spain, as I said, at one point in Spain, every education was free. But even more important, they had professional education, as in training for trades, right? And that's something that it was very easy to achieve, but even easier if you were unemployed. So you had priority while being unemployed to attend those training times and resources. Because at the time I was kind of interested, and because I was living on a portion of Spain that it would have been a very useful skill, I attended a cabinet making training course. Because that's the only thing available to learn how to deal with wood and tools and cut and be familiar with the talent. Because the area where I was living had a tradition of furniture making, of cabinetry and furniture. So there was a small chance to end up having a factory job on a furniture making facility. But my real interest is to learn, to have a hands-on experience for luthier, for guitar making. So we had to go through the basic training, basically don't be stupid, don't put your fingers on a routing table when it's turned on, or don't try to hacksaw your arm. Basic training, safety training, wood principles, gluing, jobs. And it got to a point that we were allowed to have personal projects, like what have you learned, put it into and build whatever you can with the resources. Obviously, the wood library for that particular type of school was kind of short and poor, not really hard woods or quality woods whatsoever. But just for shits and giggles, just to try to apply the knowledge I had theoretical about guitar building, the little one I had, I tried to build a guitar, which I was, from the get-go, I was on the headspace of, oh, well, it's going to be a nice prop to hang on the wall. Because I would never thought that I would finish something actually playable or worth playing or enjoy playing. I was kind of wrong. So I did my project. I went through it with the assistance of the teacher, obviously teaching me the things not to do, or how to do the things I wanted to do with the tools we actually had, because even the tool cabinet was short and broken mostly, and helped me solve the problems, both the problems I created and the problems that the teacher created as well. But that's another story for another time. And when what I end up building is what I'm going to show you in a minute. It is playable. I have played it. I have recorded with it. It has mistakes. It's not flawless, not to a long shot. And so if I ever had the chance or the money, I would love to do it again and do it right this time. Although I like to keep the concepts I put into this guitar. It is related to the project you did in both that is a solid body, no resonant box, apart from what I thought was an attempt on making the guitar lighter, a huge electronics control box. Obviously, it's out of the way of anything resonant, so I don't think it has any effect. But it's huge, basically by any standards. So I was just trying to remove as much wood as I could. Full stop. But it ended up proving very useful at the end. And that is a nylon string, because at the moment that was the only type of guitar I didn't have. I had an acoustic guitar, I had a couple of electric guitars. I didn't have any nylon string that I could play on stage at volume. Well, in fact, I have none of it. I was borrowing a standard cheap Spanish guitar for a little finger habit, but that was it. And so I took a ton of liberties and designs and concepts that I would like. That's why I would like to make it real and better, to remove the mistakes. So let's try this camera. I don't know how is it gonna work.
Whoa. Oh. But you used. Yep.
I had to buy my first ever, and also the first time I ever saw one, set of locking electric guitar tuning pegs, because I assume I would never have the skill to make a slotted headstock.
Yep.
So
Well,
because
you
I
could
had,
always do it with pegs.
yeah, but
Like
once
that.
again,
These basically are like banjo tuners. These are
Yeah.
geared pegs.
no. Oh, okay. Okay, that's different then.
And I thought, okay, well that's traditional, and they say it's
Looks
because
traditional.
it makes it lighter. No, it doesn't. No, it
no,
doesn't. It's just as heavy.
Okay. But that's the confusion. The traditional pegs, which are exactly the same as the ones you would use in a violin,
Yeah.
those make the guitar lighter, because
Yeah,
it's just
like
a
that.
piece of very hardwood. But if you
No,
have
they're
gears,
ebony. They're ebony.
Ebony,
And
yes, hardwood.
Ebony's a fairly heavy wood, but
yeah,
without
but it's
the
very
slot.
small.
But with normal tuners, you have a slotted peg head.
Yeah.
So I think the weight works out almost the same. But
Yeah.
I think the reason why the flamencos were used, cypress for the sides and tuning pegs instead of tuning machines was cost.
No.
That's what Jose Ramirez the first said.
Okay.
And
If he said
also,
it, then it's true.
Instead of five braces, he only put in 3 in his flamencos.
Okay. And
that
you
very
think that's
reason.
for cost reasons?
Economy, yes, to make it a lower cost.
Okay. I can understand.
We're talking 100 years ago, of course, but
Oh, okay. Because once again, nowadays you can buy slotted gear head machine heads for almost the same price it would cost you to buy the amount of ebony you need to turn the 6 peg heads. So
yes.
in ancient times, yes, I understand. So this is just because I'll explain why this in a second when we talk about the mistakes. So yeah.
But don't you have to turn those machines a lot?
No, because that's another difference with locking gear ratios, because they're meant to go just go in, lock, and just
I know, but I'm talking about when you're tuning.
yeah. Look at this.
Because no, I'm just saying because the size of the rollers are so much smaller for steel string tuners than nylon string tuners.
Can you see how many turns are in the
because
peg?
it's a locking, but I'm talking about if you want to go up a half step or down a half step, you're going to be turning those more than you would with nylon string tuners because the barrels are bigger. And I always wondered why doesn't anybody make tuners like that with larger barrels for nylon string? Nobody's
What
ever
do you
done
mean?
that. Nobody's ever made tuners like you have on yours,
Yes.
but with the barrels
Oh, but you mean
Larger.
vertical. You mean 90 degrees. Okay.
Yeah, but larger barrels
Yeah.
on them for nylon
Yeah.
strings.
Yeah,
would work.
the closer to that would be using bass guitar machine heads.
Yeah,
Those are the only
that
ones
would
with
do
a
it.
wide
Yeah,
with a wider trunk, a wider post.
yeah.
So that's it. So yeah, the nut is the standard guitar. I think it's
Yeah.
40. No, it's not 45. It's 50 something.
Hmm.
52.
Okay.
52
yeah.
mil ish. Okay, I just make a quit. So the
Fret markers.
yeah, that is nail varnish.
Ah.
How can I make it?
works. I could see it just when you get the light just right. Yeah.
That's why it's a little metally, because it's red nail varnish. Because that was the only thing I had available cheap that I could shape without having to know how to inlay. Mostly because we didn't have sharp enough tools in the school to do actual proper inlays. Plus, I didn't have the time or the.
Yeah.
So I did it in this shape, which I like. I would love to have it also red, but transparent acrylic with red background.
Mhm.
So I would like to keep the color, but instead of make it flat to the boot, have it had a little depth. So that's a thing I would like to. Then
So it's a metal classical. So what kind of a pickup did you do?
and the saddle back pizza.
Ah, yeah, that works.
So that's the electronics. It's a flying V. Why a flying V?
Why not?
Well, that's the first answer, but the real answer is it has straight lines. I don't have to cut curves into the wood.
Yeah,
So I could do with table saws and button saws.
saves a lot
What
of
I-
time.
Well, it sounds a lot of margin for error, and even so, I did a lot. For instance, the profile of the sides are slanted slightly,
Yeah,
just enough that when you look the guitar front-wise, you can barely see the edges. I was inspired by another guitar I saw. Also, I tried and failed to do these lines with a slight curve,
Curve.
enough to be visible, but not enough to look like a zigzag or be hard to cut. So it's just slightly.
yeah, that is.
It's more evident when you see the whole picture and you
Yeah, it
see
looks
really, really straight lines,
Looks
and
good.
then the bout is slightly curved. The size of these areas, that was one of the mistakes. I didn't manage to match them, so the different sizes.
Yeah. Well, that could be on purpose.
Sure, everything's on purpose.
A famous
I'll take
luthier
that.
said. A famous luthier said that the secret is to make your mistakes look intentional.
Exactly.
Oh,
That is double. That is decoration and its purpose. This is a bolt-on.
yeah.
It's not a glued-on. It's a whole piece of neck bolt on the body, because the nuts and washers I bought were too long for the pieces of wood I had. That's why I had to do this attachment, just a piece of glued wood onto the body, just to reach the length, so the screws wouldn't go through the neck. Okay?
Yeah.
So that was the first cavity I did. And although I did this cavity one of the later steps, because it's actually very much aligned with the bridge, because I thought that would be the easiest way to get the piezo system through the body and into the cavity. So it's basically connected to this cavity, which is a very nice battery compartment.
Yeah.
Oops, light. Okay,
Yeah.
it's this type of compartment. And
Which you need somewhere anyway.
okay,
Mhm.
and this opens and then you strike.
Yeah.
It's very, very reliable. Never let me down. And as I told you, this is the huge control cavity. I had to remove that much wood.
Yeah.
The whole body, this section, so the whole V is a Spanish pine.
Mhm.
And it's not even a Spanish hard pine. It's just medium pine. So,
But it saved you a little weight.
but still, it's enough weight to compensate for the biggest mistake I'm gonna tell you, and the electric head machines that are proportionally very heavy. It still sits in place in position. It doesn't head dive at all. It doesn't move. Also, it helps that I'm using a 3-inch strap, leather velour inside to prevent from the slippage. So, what was the biggest mistake? Have you ever heard this, when you work with wood, this maxim, this catchphrase that says, measure, measure, cut,
Yep. Measure twice, cut once.
right?
Yep.
I measured 5 times and I got it wrong
Yeah.
when I was doing the scarf joint cut. So from the log I had, that scarf joint should have been here, making the whole neck this much longer than it should. That's why I had to move the bridge from the original placement to here. So the whole guitar, while sitting, it's 3 frets to your left.
Well,
So when hanging, it looks more like a bass than a guitar, because the extra width of the
right.
Spanish nylon string width, which I did on purpose. Also the wings, I didn't cut getting the measurements from Jackson Flying Bees for any Randy Rhoads. I just draw them so they would be proportional to this width. So otherwise I would have a very tiny V and a very wide neck that it would look the way that a 7-string Flying Bee looks nowadays. Disproportionate and ugly to my taste. So I made the neck, I draw the neck to original measurements that first, and then I draw proportionally coming out. So the whole guitar, what it means is it's a huge Flying Bee. It's almost 30% bigger than any Gibson you have ever seen or played. It's humongous. But also,
Could you find a case for it?
I had to build it.
Oh, okay. Well, that makes it a mistake then. If you can find it, that's like over there. You can still see it. The tallest one over there is a classical 12-string,
Let me
or basically
me,
a Wela, but try to find a case for it. You know.
let me illustrate. So this is resting on the ground, okay?
Yeah.
So the 2 points are touching ground. This is a 6-string bass.
Well, if you cut off the top of the head. Wow.
This is a 34-inch 6-string bass. So it wouldn't even fit into a bass cheap case, a hard shell, let alone a gig bag, just because of the length. But even if I would try to horseshoe one,
Yeah.
the width of the wings would not fit. So it was a custom-made case, no matter what, which is also what many guitars, many manufacturers that do V-shapes have to do. Many of them come with, okay, how to put it? Thanks to mass production and everybody and his mother buying basically Strats, Teles, and Les Pauls, the case for guitars are become basically 3 shapes.
Yeah.
On a way of speaking, okay? And the width is quite consistent for them all. That's why they managed to make them in mass and make them cheaper, right? Even nowadays, most of the Vs, especially the Gibson ones, are wider than the standards. That's why Vs are slightly more expensive than the same level Strat or even Les Paul, because they need to sell you a bigger case that they need to make on purpose. And those cases are very rarely fiber, as in plastic or synthetic fiber, are usually wood or cardboard construction or some kind of fiber, some kind of organic shell, which is cheaper to do on detail, not on mass manufacturing. So the other big mistake I had to do is I don't remember why, but the scarf joint would not glue properly, so it would open. It would start cracking up and going up. And I think that was even before I put strings. So I start to have shimming the in between. It has some shim lines of pieces of wood I have to put in the middle, just to fill up the gap that was being created. The other problem is, as I said, the body is a Spanish pine, which I can prove just by this nut.
Yeah.
You know those nuts, right?
Yeah.
Cool. And so is the neck. That's also Spanish pine, although the shims could be something else. I can't remember, because I had to buy veneer and wood, very fine veneer and wood that I could slide all the way in and then glue clamped. But the only piece of hard wood they would give me in the school was the fretboard. This is oak.
And you stained it black?
I stained everything black, and I tried to bring the lines, how you call it, the
grain?
The grain, thank you. The grain of the wood back by sanding the black off. So it's pitch black alcohol stain through the whole body, sanding back until I was happy-ish with it. It was not the effect that I was looking for, because the effect I was looking for requires higher technique on painting and finishing that I was knowledgeable and capable of. But I'm happy with that. This one, the little pale areas, is just through finger oil and playing it, is basically removing the stain, because the fretboard was never lacquered. Everything else has been lacquered and polished. In fact, I think body is polyestyrene.
Yeah.
It's poly. I can't remember which one.
Polyester? I mean,
The cheapest one.
polyurethane?
Probably that one.
Polyurethane. It's pretty
For
durable.
So that's probably the one. That was the one they have for free in the school.
Yeah, probably polyurethane.
But for the neck, I managed to buy nitrocellulose.
Ah.
So the back neck is nitro, and the headstock, so everything that is not the fretboard on the headstock is nitro. I didn't sand the bevel, so the out wings were meant to be pitch black, and then the upper shelf was meant to be distressed black, to make the contrast, to see the extra triangles on the headstock. But the full oak is just alcohol stained in black, and that's why this part is so tall, because we didn't have scrapers, we didn't have hand planes, we barely had any planes that I knew how to use, so I have to sorry.
Bandsaw,
No,
just sand.
a band sander.
Yeah, belt sander.
Belt sound. I have to belt sound the excess wood to try to create somewhere that my fingers would not, because basically this guitar,
Yeah,
because of the neck being also pine with the only reinforcement of the oak front, it bends forward very easily under E standard tuning. But if I would drop a standard tension E tuning string set of nylon, of nylon strings, it's because it's a full 650 scale length, it's too soft, it doesn't play nice, it's almost unplayable, it's rubber bandy.
yeah,
But if I tune to a standard E, it would bow the whole neck. So the compromise I found is to use high tension nylon strings and tune it to D.
yeah. And then capo
That's
it. And then capo.
then,
Yeah,
hence the capo for standard E playing.
there you go.
The other thing I found out, so yeah, strap locks on the heel and the fin,
I like them.
recessed Fender style jack on
Oh,
the
don't-
bottom one.
Don't let them
Say what?
see that.
Say what?
Don't let them see that. They'll send you a cease and desist.
And this is. Are you aware of this website, Chipson? And the Facebook group Chipson?
Chipson?
Yeah, like China Gibson,
Oh.
Chipson. No, that was the origin of that community.
Yeah,
The first was they started buying counterfeit Gibson guitars from China into the United States.
yeah.
So the nickname started growing. So it's not a Gibson, it's a Chipson. It's a China Gibson. And now they have a Facebook group, and they
Gender?
basically say,
Gender?
What? No, they never made Fenders. That's a very good point. They never made Fenders. And basically, it's like the Mad magazine for guitar community. They're taking the piss and making stupid products. Like they have a little footstool that looks like two wah-wahs for when you are on the toilet. You know that if you raise your knees
Yeah.
above your belly, you're meant to be more healthy. That type of stuff. Or
Yeah.
two wah-wahs together, but they're shoes that you wear. So you can put your feet in the wah-wahs, and then you can do two wah-wahs at the same time.
Wasn't that like the logo for, who was it? Morley?
Not to the cast.
Remember the original logo for Morley pedals back in the 70s?
Yeah.
The guy had wah-wah pedals for his feet.
No, they had a feet contour instead of the plate of the wah-wah.
No, I'm talking about way back at the very beginning when they first came out.
Okay.
Morley's first came out, and it was guy bell-bottom pants, and he's got wah-wah pedals for feet, or something like, or shoes, or something like that.
Okay. Well, Chipson is doing that again, but I think the one you're looking for, if I can find it, do you remember pedals called Snarling Dog?
Yeah,
They had the wah-wah. They had the plate with your foot, your
yeah,
shoe is meant to.
Yeah,
It was the shape of a foot
barefoot. Yeah.
with fingers. Yeah.
Well, there was in the hot rod days of the 1950s and 60s, they made chrome-plated accelerator pedals for cars
Yeah.
that were like that.
So that's where they got him from.
Yeah.
I thought they invented it.
No, I think you
Oh.
could probably still buy those.
No, but I thought the pedal manufacturer invented the concept of putting
No, no,
the
it
spare
goes
foot
way
into the
back.
pedal. Oh,
Yeah,
it's still awesome, but hey,
yeah.
flying W you take you too much work. Okay. So the other accident of this guitar is that I bought the pickup. I think I bought the piezo unit, which is the bar with the wire. I think from Shadow. You're
Yeah.
familiar with Shadow, right?
Yes.
But either it was not available or I could not afford it. I had to buy the preamp, I think from Schaller.
Mhm.
But I didn't knew or didn't even check the specs. So somewhere there's a mismatch that makes that apparently the pickup is too hot for the preamp. So if I crank everything, this preamp even comes with an on-off switch on the volume.
Yeah.
That's the
Right.
click you're hearing, okay? And this tone is a very weird, like mid swipe. It's not really a filter. It's not a low pass,
Yeah.
a traditional low pass. It's more like a mid-range sweep, because on a nylon, you don't want to miss your bottom end because there's no much of it, and you don't want to miss your treble, otherwise nobody can hear you. So it's like this only acts more in the mid range and twists a little bit. But if I crank everything up,
Get distortion.
I get freaking distortion out of anything that overdrives.
Yeah.
I can play metal with a nylon string.
There you go.
No freaking joke. It sounds a little bit like ass. You have to EQ the heck out of it to make it sound palatable. But for death metal, it's awesome. And this is my nylon string, solid body, Spanish guitar.
Nylon string metal guitar. Very good.
And that was the show and tell.
Yep.
So, thank you so much for coming.
Well, hopefully
Soft culture, more likely.
hopefully next month we can do the pickup installation on the one I'm working on now.
What are you planning on?
The same thing as with that. It'll be the ghost pickups.
That's the Graphtec Ghost system?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's piezo for under a saddle
Saddle.
for each string,
Uh-huh.
and
That's a good follow-up question.
it
Are
basically.
you cut? Yeah, finish, please.
Well, if you want, I can run down and grab it real quick and show you, or I could just show you on that one. Hang on.
What do you mean? Yeah, go for it. So you mean that the pedal with the shape of a naked feet would come more likely from the surf culture? God, my English is getting worse by the month. Surf culture.
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I
I
don't
take it.
like about these.
Let me give you the forum. Wait, where are you?
Okay.
Here. Gotcha.
Okay.
There.
Yeah. The one thing I don't like about that is these charcoal gray saddles. I mean, why didn't they make them white? Because it just makes the bridge look bland. Bridge look really bland.
Oh, that's what you don't like. Okay.
Yeah. And so as a result, I put, a charcoal gray nut on.
Yeah, Graphtec again.
Yeah.
That's kind of their brand color, because they started doing graphite parts.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think it must be some kind of branding shit.
Yeah.
Because Graphtec also has a white tusk to offer for nuts and saddles.
Yeah.
So it makes no sense that they don't offer you a white tusk option
Yeah,
for
they
the
don't.
for the Ghost
especially-
system.
Yeah, especially considering how expensive they are. But the flamencos I built were based on all the lessons from Chaco, uh, Chorobo, who's a Spanish luthier in some small town in Spain now. But
Hmm.
for
Well,
each string, there's 3 holes through the bridge, so you don't tie a knot. See,
what?
there's no string wrapped around the top of the bridge.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
They just go back and forth in there, and they loop over each other there. I really like it.
Ah,
But
that's interesting.
so that's what I did on this one. And if you go to guitarful.com, I did a whole blog on how I built this and the mistakes I made. Like I glued the bridge in the wrong place. Talk
Oh, you
about,
too?
yeah, measure twice, glue once.
Yeah.
But anyway, this,
Oh, that's cool.
well, that's just that's just for dampening.
Uh-huh.
But to do all the wiring with a ghost pickup, to do that through the sound hole would have been
Uh,
impossible.
well,
But
extremely
anyway,
hard, if any.
there's there's just separate wires for each pickup coming through, and
Yeah,
there's
because
one, and there's one.
because it says, and now I'm thinking, why would it be so hard? Yeah, because technically that system was designed for solid body nylons.
It'd be,
I don't think.
and you do a lot of routing to do that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and but the way they laid out the controls and everything on this, I think they also
Mm-hmm.
meant it for an acoustic steel string guitar. But
Uh-huh.
anyway, there's a board in there with three
Mm.
double concentric pots
Oh,
that
fuck me.
are just kind of weird. But that's for and that's battery powered. But that's just for the mixed straight output. If you
Yeah,
just want to play this as
for
an
the
electric
preamp.
guitar,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
just as electric guitar. There's a board here that just,
Can you lift it a little bit? Because
yeah,
it's not on camera.
yeah.
Yeah.
There's a long skinny board attached to this DIN
Okay.
socket there.
Uh-huh.
And basically what's on that board is pretty much what you got in a GK pickup.
Mm-hmm.
So this board,
Question.
you could throw out, leave that and the battery
Mm-hmm.
out, and just
Mm-hmm.
put in this board and this if you want just
Mm-hmm.
MIDI controller for it.
Okay.
But this will do both.
Question.
Yeah.
Because I'm thinking, after seeing your solution, obviously it makes me think, what the fuck were they thinking? But wouldn't be because they could be expecting for the luthier to attach the system to the top and then glue the top to the rest.
Actually, from reading the instructions, it's almost like this is like if you have an acoustic guitar, you buy
Mm-hmm.
this and
Mm-hmm.
find a repairman or a luthier
Mm-hmm.
to install it for you,
To retrofit
or
that shit from the mouth?
or do it yourself. And
What?
now the sound hole on a steel string's big enough for me to get my arm and hand in there. But
Okay.
imagine building a ship in a bottle,
Yeah.
but the bottle's opaque.
That's why I'm freaking out. It's like, what were they thinking?
Yeah.
I mean, as I said, to me, the best solution for this would be to build a standard box, but attach the whole system to the top and sides, and glue the top last when all the electronics are already in. Obviously, you have to protect the electronics for the curing of the lacquer and the polishing of the lacquer and dust, tons of dust.
Yeah.
But to me, it's the only right solution because all
And
that electronics, that's a pain in the bum.
Yeah. Now I had thought about that, but I decided since I wanted this to be, well, I don't know, can you see some of the bracing in there? Maybe the light's not good enough.
I can
Yeah.
see some. It looks parallel to the neck. I can see
Yeah.
one brace going up and one going
Yeah.
horizontal.
Well, there's 3 on either side going up. I have them spaced in the middle a little bit further apart because I wanted them to clear the sound hole. If If you look through the sound hole, you can see
Yeah,
one of them. See how tall it
and
is?
and I can see they're comparatively to a standard resonant acoustic, they're huge. They're very,
Yeah,
very tall
and
tall
it's,
and thick.
I mean, it doesn't,
Because that was meant
it's a
not to
tabletop.
amplify, right?
No, I want it to be as quiet as possible. Maybe there you can see them. No,
Now, I can see we can see parts. Sadly, I don't have a magnifying
no,
capability in the system. No, trust me.
flashlight. But
Some
anyway,
some some images have gone through,
yeah. But anyway, it's all the
but
electronics is there.
as this is the one you were telling me before that you still can hear the strings while you
Yes,
play the synth
yes,
because is the because you use for top, back, and sides, you still use the standard thickness of wood that is used in guitars, right?
yeah. They're a little bit thicker. The sides couldn't be, or I wouldn't have been able to bend them.
Exactly, that's one.
But
But how much thicker are you talking about? A tenth of a mil extra? Because
uh,
those,
more like half a
this,
mil or more.
wow, and still resonates that much.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
that's
I
good.
mean, as you know, a solid body electric guitar, you can still, if it's
Oh, yeah, yeah.
quiet, you can hear it. And
335, Gibson 335 is meant to be a solid log all through the string section, and you could serenade a girlfriend in the same room with it.
yes, that's good. And that's
And
an ES335. That's a good comparison. Uh,
yeah, that's basically
but
what you have there.
but I was going to basically make it just a straight neck through and
Uh-huh.
just make it solid body basically.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but I'd never done a cutaway and I'd never done an arm bevel.
Oh, the ambival I
And
love.
so
That's the
so it
hard
was
bit.
it was like okay, it was an exercise. Uh, so that's fine. But this one is the one I'm building now is it's basically just a log. And
So you're following Mr. Les Paul's school of
yeah,
thought.
it's kind of like that. I mean, along the neck, it's still your standard thickness.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I'm making it a little bit thicker probably.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, and then it's 25 frets.
Uh-huh. Why
So
not?
the fingerboard comes to about there. After
Mm-hmm.
that, it widens and thickens quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Then I've routed out. I got it all rough carved. It's probably like a week's worth of additional carving, and then the
Uh-huh.
neck part of it will be done except for the sanding, the pore filling, and all that. But
Definition, yeah.
yeah, the interesting part of it, I wanted it to still like this one. I wanted to feel like a classical guitar. So
Uh-huh.
I bent sides for it. There's not going to be
Good.
any top. There's no back.
Uh-huh.
Uh, this side is just going to be like, and I ordered two sets of back and sides of Paduk or Padok. I don't know how you
Yeah.
pronounce it. I've heard it
I say
pronounced both
Paduk.
ways. It's a reddish wood.
Yeah,
Uh, I
I'm
got two
familiar.
sets of that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I thinned them to the normal 2 millimeter thickness.
Hmm.
Uh, I bent all four of the sides. Then I
Mm-hmm.
took the back, joined it, sawed it in half, joined that again, sawed that, and made a set of cross grain sides. So the sides are basically 3-ply plywood.
I was about to mention that. Just give me, let me stop you for a second because you might be able to explain this. I don't follow.
Okay, halfway inside. Oh yeah, double top. There are some players and luthiers that swear by those
What does
double
that mean?
double top guitars. There's a sandwich of two tops,
Uh-huh.
and then they put like a very lightweight fiberglass honeycomb in between the two. But then
to
there's
connect
also,
them.
yeah, that's a double top. But there's also, and I think it was Jose Ramirez III. I think he even wrote about it in his book. Uh, it's there's another top, but it only comes this far out from the sides. It goes like this, and it's halfway along the side. It's just like a shelf going all the way around. That he did
Oh.
that. And
If
I
you
don't
if
know
you
if any-
manage, you, I would love if you can share pictures of that in the Discord.
what the double tops?
Yeah, all of it,
Yeah, I don't know where I would find that.
anywhere, no
But
rush.
the double top with the honeycomb, there's a couple of
Mhm.
luthiers in Australia. Well, there's one luthier I know of. in
That's what I heard,
Australia
but
that
I
does
thought
that.
he was doing the bracing honeycombed, as in a
No,
grid.
it's the actual top,
Okay.
and because it's all about mass and stiffness and all that. And there's the one classical guitarist that I've been the most impressed with, and I hesitate to say I consider him the greatest guitarist in the world, but I think he is.
Probably is.
His name escapes me right now.
Usually the
His
case.
mother is a concert pianist.
Mm-hmm.
He's from Ukraine, but he's been living in the
Okay.
United States, I think, the past several years.
Mm-hmm.
And the one piece that Rodrigo wrote for guitar called a toccata. No one has ever recorded it. No one has
Okay.
ever performed it because it's impossible. I saw him play it,
Okay.
and
What's
he-
hard about
he-
it?
it's just, well, typical of Rodrigo. He wasn't a guitar player, so he would just write something and give it to Segovia or give it to Bream or give it to Saint La Mesa, and they would, make corrections and go back and forth and get something playable out of it. And the toccata in
Wait.
theory,
Joaquin Rodrigo?
yeah,
I thought he was a player.
no. He didn't play guitar.
God, I'm
No.
confused. Totally confused. Okay.
And probably the most playable thing he ever wrote was the Concerto de Aranjuez, which is what he's most
Oh my
known
God.
most known for.
And that
And,
was it's an ordeal in itself.
Yeah. And what I think is hysterical is he didn't write that for Segovia. He wrote that for Saint La Mesa, who never performed it.
Okay.
But Segovia always complained to everybody he commissioned to write for him, said, no dissonance. I hate dissonance. Don't put any dissonance. And all of the pieces Rodrigo wrote for him have dissonances in it. The Concerto Aranjuez does not.
Yeah, that's the Spanish spirit of you're not gonna tell me what to do, mate. It's
But anyway,
I'm the best, so you're not telling me how to do my job.
But anyway, this guitarist from Ukraine, he makes a living doing competitions, performing at competitions and getting the prize money, and he's done hundreds of them. And it's almost like they hate to see him coming, I think. But he's just, that's a hard way. That's in the music
I mean-
business. That would be the hardest way to make a living.
Hell yeah.
But the
'Cause
guy
you
is-
need to be the best all the time. I understand that it's a way, and it's a way that many talented and skilled, because I understand that a lot of highly skilled musicians, performers, might not have been the most talented at first. So I do understand that a skill can come through effort, and my understanding is talent is you're born with. It's
I think
innate.
most people I've seen that people call talented, they
They're
put
just
in
hard worker.
thousands and thousands and thousands of hours.
Yeah. But
The age of-
my point is, it feels sad making a sport out of music to me.
Yeah,
It shouldn't be that way.
No,
But sadly,
I don't.
it's one of the ways that the classic musicians
It's the norm now.
get to make a living, because the prices is what pay their bills.
Yeah, it used to not be that way, but some of these competitions, the first prize is concert tour. They line up a whole concert tour for you. That's great.
Job. That's
Or
great, yeah.
or an Naxos CD or a couple of CDs, and that basically gets people started on their careers. So that is kind of nice. But
Huh.
anyway, so
That's not my concept of talent. That's not what
No.
I understand as
no,
talent.
that's just being
Although
competitive.
the ability to focus on a task, to learn and master, could be a talent on
Yeah.
some disciplines.
Yeah.
That's not what I understand as musical talent. To me,
No.
talented people is those who have, for instance, somebody born with perfect pitch. That's a talent.
Yeah,
They're born with,
that truly is, because you can't earn that.
although you can waste it.
Yes.
People born with perfect pitch through a bad life environment could waste it away. That's been the case many, many times. But very few people, that's not something you can buy in a book.
No. But
What are you
anyway.
saying?
Um,
Because you were showing the guitar again for.
yeah. But basically, the one side will come around like that. The other side will only come this far,
Uh-huh.
and
So, because obviously, and that was the question I almost forgot to make. You are familiar with Yamaha's silent line, right? Aren't you?
silence line. I haven't
Silent.
Heard that. I haven't heard that term. No.
So Yamaha, in their, well, it's a bridge in between both worlds. 2026, Yamaha doesn't really give a shit about electric instruments. They still have them because they make some money, but Yamaha core income is classical instruments, classic and marching band instruments,
Yeah.
acoustic instruments, because their price and quality, in my opinion, is unmatched. There are brands that are cheaper than Yamaha, but they're not as good, not by any means. And there are brands that are better than Yamaha, but they don't have their prices,
Yeah.
not by far, right? So to me, Yamaha is the perfect middle ground when it comes to traditional acoustic instruments, including pianos.
Yeah.
At this
consumer
point.
grade. Yeah. Well, their
Okay,
pianos
well-
are pretty good. But
I would say entry-level professional classic musicians. That's what
Yeah.
I would call the classic division of Yamaha. Then consumer grade, I would call the electric division, as in synthesizers, electric guitars, electric bass guitars, drums, if you wish, as in drum kits.
yeah.
Consumer grade, depending on which line you buy. So I thought it came as a hybrid between the electric guitar line and the classical guitar line of Yamaha. They released this line they called Silent, which is the minimal expression of a guitar so it can be played, but is destined to be a practice tool, because you plug in headphones.
Right.
So that would be the only way to hear it properly on a nuanced performance level, or to be plugged to make a concert. And the whole design is exactly what you build it.
Yeah.
It's a core of,
Mhm.
they've gone through several iterations, and the
Yeah.
latest, I think, is a hybrid, is
Okay.
partially
I've seen
wood.
those. Yeah. I've seen.
And
yeah.
you've seen the wings that you can nail into the center log
Yeah.
to just become the shape of a guitar.
Yeah, I
and
thought about
you
doing it
basically-
that way. But yeah, I'm familiar with those, and I had thought about getting one of those until I looked into it as well. And I did get, I couldn't get my hands on one to see it, but I got an Aria make one like that,
Aria, yeah.
and the wings come right off, and you put it in a bag. And I bought one of those, and then of course there's the.
There's another manufacturer which
What's that
they
company?
don't.
They look like
they don't-
they're shaped almost like a Telecaster. and it's a classical. All of them, every last stinking one of them, has a narrow steel string spacing on them, and they're
But the
short in scale
Yamaha,
length. The
but the
Yamaha does
Yamaha,
too. The Yamaha
Yamaha
does too.
Yamaha sells both. They have the 42 narrow nut with nylon string and the 52 with nut on nylon string. You can choose. Problem is, the best seller is the 42. It's
Yeah.
basically electric guitar players who wants to play this,
Yeah, they all hold it
nylon
like this,
once in a
yeah.
while.
Yeah.
But they release at one point, I don't know if they're still out, both widths,
Yeah.
The concert nylon and the strumming nylon.
Yeah.
You could buy both. So the last fact I've heard, and that was probably 2 to 3 years ago, is that Yamaha synth division only accounts for 5% of the corporation's income.
I believe it.
So yeah, they do obviously pianos, Yamaha
Band
classic piano,
instruments. And band instruments, yeah.
and marching bands. I mean, how many high schools are Yamaha exclusively? Because
Probably
they
all
can.
of them.
Because what other brand can you buy the whole marching band from one single brand?
Right?
Who else is there?
Nobody.
Because every other
Summer,
school has,
yeah.
they don't do brass. Some of
Yeah.
them don't do brass. They do the percussion, the drums, but they don't do the brass.
Yeah. Yamaha does it all.
Trumpets, seno, custom, professional, intermediate, beginner levels of horns. But once again, yes, you can find affordable drums and affordable brass, but the only affordable brand that do drums and brass
Yeah.
marching level is Yamaha, to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Even
And
more,
I bet you they have salesmen they send out to every school.
right there.
Yeah.
Good. Mr. Guitar Fool, once again.
we
Oh my
done?
God. 3 again.
Yeah.
I'm going to start, instead of 6 oscillators, this is going to be the 3-hour show.
Yeah, really.
So sorry, but that's what we do. Thank you very much for coming. I wish you the best. If you get pictures of any of those guitar constructions you could share at any moment, please share them in the Discord, because I'm really intrigued.
Yeah.
As well as any other thing you would like to share in the Discord. That's what the Discord is for.
Yep.
For us to communicate and show specialized information and media. Thank you very much. Have a wonderful day and a wonderful month. Take care of yourself. Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Drum corps salesman of the year gets a pink caddy. Okay. Oh, you mean a Cadillac? So you mean a pink Cadillac? It's going over my head, but it still sounds funny. Cheers. Take care of you. Be excellent to each other. Play a lot of guitar. And let me say goodbye with another song from this collection of songs that I love, from Mr. Brian Andrews. And although it's a sad note, I think is still worth sharing. Take care. See you later. Enjoy.